Morning team. Morning everybody. How's it going? Sorry, running slightly behind here this morning. I'm going to try and get my dog sorted. My wife's already out to work. All right, let's just have a look how we're doing here. Market's been a bit more quiet overnight. One of the first days we've not had like a 500 point day overnight, which is nice. And you can see on the daily that we're banging into some key levels that we've talked about, all right? So we're coming right up into the daily Bollinger Band, like we always talk about. That's your 2 sigma move. It won't have much room above that unless we have like some black swan, but we can poke above it, but normally we don't close above those 2 sigma moves. When we think about the peak high from October 2025 to the low swing in early April 26 or end of March 26, we're now at the measured move. So if we think about this as a giant pullback, we're at the measured move. There is a bit more up here into 9.3s if they want to go for the 161, but we're into a profit taking kind of space here potentially if and when the market is ready. I certainly don't want to be buying up here this morning. All right, don't want to be buying up there this morning. All right, as we move into the higher time frames, or I should say the lower time frames really, the hourlies, you can see we're still in this huge grind up in the hourlies. All right, if we just zoom out this week, we held previous week value. In fact, we never came back for it. This is going to be another week where we've left a naked point of control. 1, 2, 3. This might be the 4th week if we don't come back. All right, this is a huge move of just non-stop bid. All right, it's non-stop bid without really taking any stops out. No stop sweep there. No, certainly not since Monday this week. So I'm very, very, very aware of that. Doesn't have to be today, doesn't have to be tomorrow, doesn't even have to be next week. But you can see this drive out of this RBS zone has been relentless bid, and every notable pullback has held. All right, so we're watching today these 600s because they're going to be what's important for this to be front side versus back side right now in my mind. All right, because we have an RBS zone there, we have a low volume node there, and it matters. All right, there's your, don't move that. There's your low volume node. All right, this is where we had resistance, RBS. All right, we've held that bid yesterday. It's going to become important. All right, at the moment, the easiest move, as always, is upside, but we're running out of room. All right, statistically speaking, we're running out of room. So we want to be careful. Overnight, we haven't really gone anywhere either. All right, so this is a bit different to what we had the last few days. We're compact in here. No acceptance so far above, what can we call this? 65, so 765. No acceptance above that. We find acceptance above that, maybe we poke up towards that high. You can see this is the rotation and there's an edge down here. So 765 to 718, you can just call it 700 if you want. This is our chop zone. Acceptance above, maybe we try and get up to the highs. Lose the bid here, maybe we rotate down to 675, lose that, maybe we come down to 600. Then the question is, do they bid up from this? All right, is that a deep enough wash for them to bid up from? Or do they start to melt and rotate this back down if we're in profit taking scenario? I don't know. We're just gonna have to wait and see what we do when we get there. In terms of GEX, we're still positive. High volume nodes way down here at 560s, right next to previous day point of control. So this would be a nice area if the market does lose a bid for us to come back to. We've got good confluence down there, previous day value area high, previous day point of control, high volume node, lots of things down there. Only if the market did lose a bid would we think about that as a target, and then we maybe can think about bidding back off that level. Upside targets right now, you can see the biggest wall up here is at 890s, and then above that 933s. Let's see if there's guys above. There is 29,000 in. Is there anything else? Nothing else yet. All right, so to be aware of, holding point of control, holding grey box in a slow drift up. That's been the call of this market all the time. Shorts want to guess the top. We're going to keep moving higher, right? Once they give up and stop guessing the top, probably going to see that turn around a little bit, but not until then. All right, let's have a look at ES. Same exact story. Go to a 5-minute here. All right, there's previous day high, previous day close. So they're holding the bid over the cash gap, over the previous day high. That's quite a positive bid. All the time we're seeing that happen, and they're trying to get back up. You can see this level here, 400 is a big level. If they can get through this, there you go. 450 is what they've put in for the big move today if they can get going. So there's 50 points upside if they can hold on. If we start losing previous day high and certainly if we start losing previous day close, then you can see that this opens up for this move here. 370, RBS zone, and VWAP from yesterday. All right, that suddenly opens up very quickly if we start losing under sort of 390, that drift down. All right, and under there, or if we stay heavy under there, we can talk about this move, but not until then. Let's worry about that if and when we get there. But right now, we are bullish. We are holding RBS zones. We are gapping up and holding, and the easier move is upside. It's just running out of ways to get involved. Unfortunately, it's the swings right now who are getting paid. I mean, it's not that unfortunate. We're getting paid big time in all the swing positions we're in. But all the time I'm in swings which are positive, I always think, why haven't I got more size on? Right, SPY, same kind of story. You can see gapping up versus basically 34s. All right, 33s is your level, you're over under. All the time they're holding dips in here. 740s is where they're trying to go. They lose, all right, if they lose the 33s and these old VWAPs, then you can see this return back in starting to come. We have some RBS zones here, but this guy here, 30 and 28. All right, so you're watching 33s. You can just set a price alert there. If they start to lose that weakness, if they hold that strength and it's an over under, they might do a little dip and rip. They might come down, test it, fail. If we get down there, right? We're nowhere near that right now, but it's just worth being aware of. QQQ, same story. Not as strong on the gap today, all right? Just opening up at PDC basically. Nowhere near as strong on the gap. So same kind of story here. Do we hold this gap, right, and continue this slow grind up? Right, do we see a fail breakout and a turn back downside later in the day? If they do, if they can't hold the bid higher, right? Or do we see a morning flush and dip and rip? Or do we start to lose that move there, right? Lots to play for here because we're opening up very close to it. So we need to kind of let it develop a bit. Dixie coming back down in as we expected. All right, this is what will happen if the market finds strength. We can get rid of you. Coming right back into its pivot. All right, slowly melting down and away. VIX found a bid. All right, VIX found a bid, so we're back above these 17s. This sort of sloppy action is continuing. If we just zoom out of here, you can see these prints here matter. Every time we've come under here, they've quickly found a bid back up in front of 16s. And that would be slightly concerning to me. A weak VIX like this, just that continues to trend down, very bullish for the market. But every time we're under here, we are finding a bid. If they backtest 17s today and find a bid, that would be notable for me to think about. All right, MAG, Apple, new all-time highs. Up we go. Remember, we're long from 220s. We are laughing right now. I think that was from last August. So we are coming into some pretty big walls here. 290s, I would say it probably wants up here at some point. The whole number, 300, right? Looks pretty good. We can think about a measured move from here. All right, and we don't have risk exposure. And there you go. Measured move would be 300. So that's where it ultimately wants to go if it can keep going right now. And that's what it's trying to do, is to get up there. We're gapping up. We're strong. We'll see if we can hold dips into 87s today, if and how the market acts. That's your leader probably. Amazon, still in this range. All right, this is the range for the last, 3-4 days? Right, it's trying to hold above here, the midpoint. Every dip down's been absorbed, but failing to break out upside, failing to break out downside in the mid of this box. So not very attractive right now, I would say. Goog, big strength there, back into the 400s. And we can have to see if it can hold now. You can see there's the call wall at 400. Can it hold? Right, dips into 96 to get going. If it can't, right, think about this. If it can't hold this dip, all right, this is pretty thin, all right, we can come right back down in. Doesn't have to be in one session, but I'm just saying, if we start to see weakness on dips here, you will see a collapse, especially now we've hit that whole number. Big number to come into. Meta, trying to do the same kind of play here. It's trying to hold the breakouts. You can see the range developed here. That's your look below and fail. That's your sign of strength. Can they now hold this to get going up to 625? Looks pretty good so far. Lots of stops here to come and pop. They've popped one lot. So I'd say basically 20s and 23s. Pop those stops. 25s as possible. Remember, we're weak overall if we zoom out. It's got a long way to get back to these reprices up here from that flush on earnings. All right, it's a long, long way to go, but we're seeing this move here starting to show a little bit of strength. If they can get going, they can try and fill some of this imbalance from that big flush moment. Big if, but that's what they're trying to do. Microsoft, strength, clear strength in that. All right, same kind of story as Meta though, trying to get back up to where it was before earnings, right, back into here. Wash, higher low, coming into a condensed area. You can see 420 is the big number. So again, you'd want dips to hold into sort of the teens, and you'd want strength to come over 420s for a continued squeeze back up. Nvidia looks strong. All right, that's really good. That's the kind of response you want from Nvidia for that move back into the RBS zone. All right, there's your liquidity, there's the strength, there's a micro head and shoulder. All right, sellers came in here thinking we get the collapse, we don't, and we're right back up. So dips versus 205s today would be good. 200s if they need to, but dips versus 205 if they hold that exaggerated move. If they start to fail here, it would be failed follow through. But really, we're not going to see weakness until we come under these levels here, 98, 95s. You won't see real weakness until we can't come under those. Tesla. Right, getting going, back over the 400s. 420 historically has always been the level. All right, so it's trying, lots of stops here to come and take out. Look at this, from this grind down, 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 down. There's the strength, there's the higher low, right? You can see walls here, 410s, 420s. 420s has been the level for a long, long, long time. I can zoom out of here and take you to a daily. All right, we've used this level, 420s, for a long time here. Back last year, failed under, weakness came, bottom of range, dips held, back into it. 410 to 420 will matter. Hold over 420, we can get going again. But at the moment, that's the top side move, 410 to 420. Okay, let's have a quick look at the chips overall. Up they go. Let's have a look at this on a 30-minute quickly. All right, they're holding in strength again, back to VWAP again. All right, remember this is the triple ETF. That was the flush yesterday. It's been bid back up. They've now held this. You can see where they're trying to go. Very, very, very strong. Let's have a look. AMD holding its bid. So I would just set a price alert here for AMD. All right. In fact, we can do it basically at 400 or just under. Hello. There we go. All right. Let's set a price alert here for AMD. We can move that up a little bit. All right. Weakness won't come until we wash under any of that. Netflix caught a bit of a bid yesterday. I will see today if it's going to start to hold these 87s, 88s. Let's have a quick look at this. Have we filled the gap? Haven't quite filled the gap yet. It can come down lower, so I'm just going to try and wait a bit longer to see if we fill that gap. Trying to have a look at a couple. What was it? AVGO, SNDK. SNDK. What are you doing, Annex? Stocks. Held its bid. Maybe it wants more. 1.5 break or fail break would be interesting. All right, sorry, just get my head around where we're at on the some of these names which have been going berserk. All right, so you know the score. I don't really want to bid or do anything around this grey box to start the day. All right, I'll try and avoid this grey box to start the day. If we start to hold a bid above this grey box, we can think about that move back to all-time highs set overnight. And once we get up there, we can see if we find strength or if there's a failed breakout. I am not in a rush to push this morning because we have started to go a little bit more sideways. So I'm going to let this kind of shake out a bit more today than maybe we did yesterday. Unless we see a big move off the open. Here we go, folks. So pop starting to get sold into above that level straight away. If we lose the grey box, remember, we can think about that flush. If we lose the grey box, we can think about that flush. Can I get a chart up here? Here we go. So sellers coming in here to start. grey box just churning around. Let's get rid of this and get some RTH volume on. There we go. Mixed bag on the mag. All right, Tesla 2.55% up, Nvidia just under 0.5% down, Microsoft 1.81% up, Meta 0.61% up, Google 0.31% up, Amazon 0.21% down, Apple just under 0.5% up. All right, so I'm trying to wait for this market to either leave this grey box to come to the downside, and maybe down to the 600s, or to bid above this grey box and maybe we come up here. So we start to leave this, we can think about selling, but not until that point. All right, VWAP being tagged there, being picked up straight away. ES coming into VWAP as well. These are the big levels here, folks. The bottom of this grey box, if we start to leave it, which we're not, you can see they're churning this grey box. This is why it might need a lot of patience today compared to some of the other days. We are, remember how we started the day on the daily. We are starting to run out of room. We've hit the measured moves. So the question really now is, do they start taking profit or do they need an exit? Do they need an exit? Starting to struggle to bid up here, but we're still just inside. So I'd say a big seller got caught at 30s this morning, trying to play that breakdown. You can see him on the tape. 30s and 34s, a big level. If we come under that though, they will be comfortable and there'll be weakness. Here we come back to 30s. I'm going to watch to see if we break down and stay heavy under the grey box. I will see if there's a way of joining. I will not front run like this. That has been in my diary the last few days where I've maybe jumped the gun a little bit and got myself caught. ES showing weakness, NQ showing strength. Hilarious. Nice divergence here. Chips selling this morning under pre-market lows right now. Let's see if they reject them. Weakness in ES. So this is all on the chips now if they're going to let go of these 60s. They've already come well under it to 57. If they backtest 60s and stay heavy, maybe Qs joins the ES here. We're about to find out. So coming for that back test on SOXL. Remember, 30s so far has been absorbed this morning. You can see lots of selling at 30s and under, and it's all been absorbed. They move under that, there's weakness, not until that point. Feels like SOXL needs to come for that back test at the moment. So that's certainly what it feels like to me. Here it comes. It's almost at the 60s. This is what it's looking for. And how it acts here is going to matter, because is it a dip and rip on chips, or is this the back tested pre-market in a sell? So 160 about to be tested. New high of day on NQ. ES around the low of day. So we've got divergence just to make it absolutely adamant. And this is going to be very, very hard to trade as we imagined. Grey box still holding no acceptance underneath. If they bid over this, there is an argument to come straight up to here. It's going to find this hard to bid on this for me, given what I'm seeing on the chip names at the moment. But if you're willing to take this, a bid over the grey box all the way up to all-time high up here is possible. I am not going to take that because of what I'm seeing elsewhere in the market right now. But it might well do that move. I just don't feel comfortable with the chips being heavy this morning, who have caused the squeeze to be looking for the upside move right now. That's just me. You don't have to do what I do. You should trade your own book. But I'm very risk off right now, given what I'm seeing. '50s hold, there's an argument for this to move higher. ES low of day, breaking down. NQ high of day, breaking out. It's hilarious. This is like every sign for me not to trade when we see this. 160 back test right here, right now on the chips. If they fail this, NQ will struggle. If they reclaim this, this will help the squeeze back up to the highs. At the moment, they can't get back through the 160s. Big level for them to make a decision here. Good reaction there to the downside on SOXL. This is why I'm not willing to bid here right now. ES is about to close its gap. All right, so very different markets here right now. ES, new low of day, flying downside, about to close its gap. SOXL can't get through the 160s, and NQ somehow is bidding upside. It's amazing. What are chips? Are you serious? Right, this is why I didn't bid there. All right, here's weakness coming back to these 45s. If they start to flush this grey box, we're going to see weakness. SOXL is really starting to break down here, folks. This is what we just talked about. You can't be serious saying what are chips. Please, you can't be serious. Semiconductors, chips, those things that you put in computers, those things, not those things that you eat. All right, yes, almost closing its gap. So 50 still holding, it's point control. Remember, I'm willing to play short under this, not before it, under this. If they hold this, like I said, there's an argument for you to go long. I'm not pulling that trigger given what I'm seeing in the broader market right now. It feels way too risky. It doesn't mean it doesn't do it, but given what I'm seeing in the broader market, it doesn't feel like a smooth move. ES at low of day about to close its gap. SOXL rejecting that 160 we talked about. All you have to do is look at that 160. That's your pre-market rejection right now. So if they make a new low here, unless we're doing a full rotation out of chip name straight into the mag, which is possible, but a big divergence here. Yeah, still weak. Still weak. Just straight sell since the open. It's coming to a big level, the ES, for its gap fill. If it loses that gap fill, if you're trading ES, can't rule out 370s. I would watch that 380s and then 370s. Coming right back in. The gap fill is going to be a big level. The big RBS zone. No interest for me right now. Nothing. Yeah, I mean, Mag is finding a bid at the moment, but no alignment. I'm like I said, you guys want to trade the top of this grey box looking for all-time highs, go for it. I feel very uncomfortable doing that right now, given what I'm seeing. Right, there's your ES. Here's your semiconductors. There's the 160 test and fail. If they reclaim it, we can talk about it for me. But at the moment, it doesn't mean it doesn't do it. Like I said, there's a good chance it will do it. But it does not feel like a comfortable trade with that much divergence being seen in the market right now. It does not feel like a comfortable trade. It doesn't feel like a low-hanging fruit, easy money trade right now. It feels like something which will be very hard to take for me personally. Again, you trade your own book. If you like playing these dips here, which made sense, it was my pre-market plan, but what I'm seeing doesn't align with it. So I'd rather be flat and wait personally. I don't mind missing trades if it means I can be risk adverse and wait for a really good setup to come. What's with your name? What do you mean, what's with my glasses? Hello, new guy on stream, straight away starting off with some idiotic comment. Right, ES finding a bid in front of PDC. Can't get through its VWAP yet. So we're seeing weakness there on ES. Chip's about to break down to a new low of day here, while the NQ moves higher from the top of this grey box. Like I said, it's if you want to take it, take it. I'm definitely not comfortable. New low of day in the semiconductors. Where's the strength coming from? Tesla. Tesla and Oracle. Tesla, Oracle, Microsoft right now. That's where the strength's coming from. Those in the swing longs with me, breaking out now. We're up 5% this morning. So another swing paying big for us now. Glad we positioned for that. We have absolutely nailed the swings the last few weeks. Here's the failure from those highs. ES coming back down to close its gap. This is what I mean. I'm very uncomfortable being long because I don't look at the chips are absolutely melting to the downside right now after rejecting 160. I would not be surprised if this loses this bid and grey box here, but to each their own. This is why I'm avoiding it. I've given you a clear reason why I'm avoiding buying this grey box right now, because the broader names are getting hammered and they've been the market leaders. And if they're going to go into a big old sell, I don't see how NQ is going to hold on. All right, if we start seeing weakness and rotation out of semis, you're going to start to see it hit the bigger names, and then we're going to see a rotation and profit taking. So that's why I personally am avoiding the dip right now. ES about to close its gap. And if we start to lose this grey box, that's when I'm going to be interested in the short. ES just closed its gap there or thereabouts. Spiders have got actually a little bit further to go. They can trade into 33.80s here on the SPY. They're into pre-market lows at the moment. Big buyer did get caught there at 780s where you guys are talking. All right, there's your big buyer getting caught up there at the highs. All right, we can see sellers got caught here this morning at 50s. So if they start to stay heavy at 50s and 60s, we can see this rotation to the seller who got caught at 730s. I feel more comfortable shorting once he's well comfortable and in the money. All right, here comes the gap for ES. Get ready in case they find a bid here. Same with chips into 55. It's a big level. If we start to reject 755 here in the NQ, that would be a good indication that we're probably going to come and test 740 and then 730 where that seller is caught. But I would expect some form of reaction here on SPY as we close the gap, or ES as we close the gap. You know what I'm waiting for. I've said it a million times. Tempted to feather in something here, but like I said, that's been in my journal this week. I've front run a few times here, but let's see how we act. That's good buyers getting trapped there again in that push up to 65 and 55. I think if you let go of New York Open here, you're going to see a flush down to 40 and 50. ES front running that close right now. It's found a bid off that PDC. These are big levels here while they try and find alignment. 55 here just got tagged on the Soxal, and if they lose that, there's another 5 points down. It's big level, but they extended aggressively into this. So if you just look at a 5-minute chart on SOXL, you'll see the 160 test I talked about. Big rejection there. We're down five points off that and melting, continuing to melt. And this thing should melt with it. I think NQ is going to melt. Here we go. So I've put a piece on versus that now. I know I'm front running a bit. And we can watch 40s here. If they let go 40s, we're going to go 30s where the seller is. Be careful as ES comes into its gap fill. Here we go. Here's the move to 30s. All right, I'm going to pay myself a little piece here, and then I will add on under the grey box if we continue to stay heavy. All right, and hopefully that is just years and years of experience of understanding the broader market, of telling you why I'm not buying, because it felt unhealthy. Here's the 30. This is where sellers got caught this morning. You want to pay yourself a bit here. And if we stay heavy under this grey box, we can think about a deeper move. But 30 is a big level. Remember, this is where the seller got caught this morning. All right, so he's become a buyer for now, stopping out break even. And we can sort of still traverse in here a bit. The real weakness will come under his price, underneath the grey box. Yes, I am short. I went short on the pop to 59, so I felt uncomfortable about it, but I am short. And if we start to melt here, then I will start to add. Look at SOXL just diving. I don't think you'll see many YouTube traders be able to explain the markets to you of why I didn't want the long today above that. They don't understand to look at the sectors that are moving. Here we go. I'm adding into this now on this break. So if we can stay heavy now versus 30s, it would be really good, and we start to melt. SPY about to close its gap as well, so just be aware of that. We have slight divergence between the ETFs and the futures. SPY closing its gap here as well. Might get a little wiggle here. If we can stay heavy versus 30s, we'll see weakness. We don't want to reclaim 30s, really. We'd like to stay heavy versus 30s. Here's the 30s. They might lift to 45s. Ideally, they don't. Coming up to my core here. Gap fill complete on the ES. Gap fill complete on the NQ. SOXL drifted all the way down to 52.50s. It's back testing 55s now. It can print right the way up to 57, so you've got to be careful here as we sort of wash around. They're starting to hold the bid here, so it could be a failed break of this grey box right into my core position here. So I'll trim this the rest of this break even if they start to print up. Hopefully not, because I've added in. No, they're holding. All right, trimming my core position here. Can always add back in again. Those shorts still stuck at 30s and under. We need to move under them again, and then I'll add back in again. Remember, the grey box can rotate. We want weakness under 30s. Here we come. So I add back in if we start to stay heavy here. Absorption there again at 15s. All right, adding back in for the break. Here we go. Can we see a little bit under 30s? Can we stay heavy at 30s? Here we come. Flush coming. Come on, let it go to 7s, and then we can talk about the 6s, which is the RBS zone. Come on. Come on. Dangling the 7s here. Sellers are at 50s and need them to walk down. Here comes a seller into 30s. 200 lot coming to 30s now. If he runs away, I'm not going to like it. And he's still there. I want these guys at 50s to walk down to help. I think we've still got more in this to go lower. Here they come. Come on, mate, at 30s, walk down. And guys at 50s, walk down. Otherwise, I'm going to have to take my core off again. They're coming back in again. We're protecting 30s. He's still not been filled. He's still sat there passively. Big buyer coming in here at 30s, filling him. Gonna have to take this off again. Not gonna get squeezed out on a reclaim. They're playing games down here. ES, again, the much better mover. Surprise, surprise. I mean, what a beautiful move from ES, right? There's the 45 test. Again, I'm down to 0, and I will add in again if I see weakness. I'm not going to trade this grey box. I need to see weakness. That's a good stop hunt there, and fill. 236 lot got caught at 45. But we want to be very careful of the look below and fail. Remember, it's been very heavy selling down here in front of the 7s. ES again breaking down. Oh my God. NQ, are you just going to be an absolute nightmare to trade? I think you are. I think I'm just going to leave you alone while you fuck around here. What a beautiful move on ES by comparison. Big buyers coming in here. Huge, huge buying coming in here. Huge buying. ES about to do a new low of day. Oh, we're trading an awful asset. Once they're finished doing their games, it'll be fun. We just got to let them do their games for a minute. Oh, here they go for the back test of 57 on SOXL. This is the level. So they need to reject this on SOXL for chips to stay heavy. If they do, maybe we'll come back down to these 30s. Again, I'm flat at the moment because we're playing stupid buggers on NQ. And we're not playing stupid buggers on ES. We are just trading so beautifully, so smooth, so obvious by comparison. Clearly underneath all the VWAPs, clearly underneath PDC, clear rejections, clear lower high, clear downside moves. But we are not seeing that on NQ yet. It will come if we reject 57s here, which we're looking like we might do. 157, starting to see heaviness there on SOXL. This is all about the chips right now. That's why we're watching the chips. Buyers might be caught here at VWAP. If we start to flush VWAP, these buyers will get caught. At the moment, they're holding. This level here is huge. You can see all these big bids that came in right here. Massive amount of buying here. This is our over-under now for the day, that VPOC. It's the 30s. It's the same where the sellers got caught. The buyers are now piling in there. It's a big decision. We'll see. If we start to leave them trapped, I will think about downside again. I've been flat. I've had to be careful with my core position today. Again, it's the 57s that matters on SOXL right now. That's the pivot where they broke down from the morning flush. They're coming to back test it at the moment. This is what matters. If we're going to see follow through downside, remember, if the leading market have been the semis, then they are going to have to stay heavy, which means rejecting pivots and moving lower. So that's why we're watching the 57s. Are they going to basically create 10 minutes of a bear flag here and reject? If they reclaim 57s, they're going to go back for the 160s and you'll see NQ break out towards the highs. This is what I'm watching over there at the moment. Remember, ES has filled its gap and flushed, stayed heavy under its gap. Spiders is under its gap. We are not. This is our gap on NQ. We are protecting the gap right now. They're very different markets. I can show you. It's like one of these days. Look at that. That's the difference right now between the two markets. This is very, very clean, isn't it? There's your break. There's the New York Open. There's the lower highs. There's the VWAPs. There's the close. There's the next move. It's very, very clean on ES. This is what you call garbage. That's absolute garbage. NQ this week has been erratic. Yeah, I mean, again, it's because of the rotations, right? You have to understand what's moving and why, right? This matters right now. We just talked about it, didn't we? Remember the first thing I said, if 160 rejects, we break, right? They're coming back for 57s. This matters now. Do they sell this at 57s or do they catch a bid and start sending it? This will rip NQ. This will probably help drive NQ lower. This 57 matters. All right, it matters. That's why we're watching it. That's why we care about what's happening in the market leaders. Remember, those are heavily weighted, 60% heavily weighted. We care about the chips in the Qs. They don't really care about it to the same extent in ES. Why don't we trade at ES? Well, because we don't just change things because for 1 or 2 days we have a divergence. We don't change how we trade because 1 or 2 things change over a small period of time. Our job is to be here every day. Over the long term, ES will not provide the same opportunities NQ does as a day trader. All right, here's the 57 reclaim. Back to high of day. ES is coming back for its PDC. If it rejects PDC, if you're trading ES, you can stay heavy. So I'd stay heavy versus 90s. If they reclaim 90s and VWAPs, you get that lift to 95. We are moving fast here in this market. There we go. They probably caught all the shorts there. That's why we stopped out. Right back to all-time highs we come as we've gone through 57s now. So that's the divergence at play here. Major, major, major divergence at play here. Previous day high being tagged in NQ while ES is sat at PDC. Big, big divergence. Big, big, big divergence. Buyers coming flying in here. Here's previous day high. They might as well come and take out the all-time high now. They've done enough of a shuffle. Again, I'm not going to bid up here yet. I'd have to see a full reclaim, which we're starting to see. It's coming back to the 160s. We wait sell, and we're not even really thinking about the sell at this point. All right, we've reclaimed everything. We're not thinking about the sell at this point. The sell was here. All right, had the opportunity here. They didn't even sweep. Look, they didn't even sweep an internal. We're not thinking. We're certainly not thinking about sells now. That's certainly not what we're thinking about up here. Not after ES has closed its gap. SPY's closed its gap. They're starting to reclaim it. SOXL's reclaimed 57s. We're certainly not thinking about the sells at this point. We're just going to let it build liquidity. If dips want to hold, we can think about that. But we have to be dynamic. We're certainly not going to guess the top on this. We'll play backside or nothing for sells. We don't guess tops. Thanks for a shit trade. Well, not really. It wasn't really a shit trade, was it? It was a breakdown from here. We added here. We stop out. Right? If you don't understand how to use a stop, you're a bit of a moron. All right? Like we said, there's divergence. We kept saying it has to stay heavy versus 30s. If you kept adding above 30s, that's on you, mate, not on me. I gave you the clear levels. I told you what I wanted to see. It didn't happen. We stop out. That's part of trading. You're not going to win 100% of the trades, especially when there's big divergence. So if you've got a problem, it's with yourself, buddy, not with me, because it means you don't know how to execute. Well, it is moron, because it would be moron trade. It would be someone putting more risk on because they don't understand where to take a trade off. That's literally the moron trade. You're a moron if you're doing that. If you're adding into a loser, you're quite literally a moron. You're putting more risk on when there's no trade available. All right, ES into VWAP, reclaiming PDC. SPY divergence, reclaiming PDC, coming into its VWAPs. It's an interesting one here on SOXL. It's rejecting its VWAPs. We're right into the opening range high here. ES rejecting its VWAPs. Weakness across the board. Strength in the Qs. Here we go. Back to value area high here. They're holding dips versus value area high. What's your 15-minute orb? 83s right now. Again, I'm not going to play the dips, even though I think there's a chance for it to do it. I'd rather just leave this alone right now. I don't like playing dips when ES looks like it's going to completely puke out. All right. Big buys came in at 180s, so 780s. The node here is at 60s. We're holding value area high for now. ES is coming back down to low of day right now. They're very, very different. All right, these are very, very different markets right now. All right, very, very different. Be aware of that. If this breaks down, you have to understand how we're moving and what we're doing. Do they create a high low here and rip and give the Q strength, or are they going to start to melt this back down after a retest of where we failed? Remember, we didn't make a new high here. We rejected supply. We probably come back down to here. The question is, do they make a higher low, or does this start to melt? And it matters. It really matters, because that's the market leader. What are we seeing over here? All right, lower highs start to be developed. MU with strength though. All right, so mixed bag across them. INTC trying to claw back up. You can see there's a mixed bag. We're not in agreement even within that fund. Even within that fund, they're not in agreement. Delta is pushing, not really for me. I don't think so. Like Delta hasn't even made a new high versus 940 this morning, and we've made a new high on the tape. So price is up higher than Delta right now. I'm just not going to get caught. I'm just unwilling to get caught. Well, I am somewhat surprised of if they're going to do the trap that they didn't come and rinse these guys out first, but we'll see. If they find a bid on ES, this thing will rip. SOXL coming back down in. Lots of liquidity up here, up to 85. 825, sorry. ES back to close price again. Just trying to find a bid over VWAP right now. Keeps getting hit at VWAP. Again, I'm flat at the moment. Not liking what I'm seeing in general, so just letting this shake out. That's part of trading. I'm not looking for anything right now. You guys, are you looking for a buy or sell? I'm not looking for anything right now. I'm letting this shake out and build liquidity. I've said it a million times. The divergence is too big. They need to make a decision. You've got SOXL coming back down. You've got ES going back up, and you've got NQ stuck at the highs. Like, there's no alignment right now. There's nothing here that's saying, yes, we're in buys. Market wants to move up together. Chips are finding strength. ES, no, we're not seeing that. You're just seeing a churn. Imagine like a pie chart, right? So you've seen like chips be sold, energy be bought, energy be sold, mag be bought, mag be sold, this be bought. We're just seeing a churn around and around and around. There's just a rotation through everything at the moment. We will see what happens. We will just be patient. Can see once they got over the grey box, it's where the rip came. But again, this was the area of divergence. This morning we were talking about holding this for this, or weakness under here for here. This is the area I really want to think about buying if we're going to hold. It's all the way down here. Just have to be still. It's part of it. All right, ES finding a bid now. So it's back into its sort of grey box zone. It's through New York VWAPs, coming up to its 24-hour VWAP. Soxel's come down to that level we talked about where it would make its decision, right here. We just talked about this, right? This is the decision, isn't it? So lower high. This is where we found a bid. This is probably 50% between the two. It needs to make a decision here. All right, if this starts to roll, Q's probably roll with it. If this finds a bid and strength, all right, if this is a sort of quasi and it finds a bid and strength, maybe NQ will really get going, right? But we're just seeing at the moment, like, if buts and maybes. Here goes ES. So ES finding strength now. These are all-time highs up here. So that's a good strength, good hold. Your all-time high is about to get taken out, which is the Globex level. And then above that, if they're going to hold a squeeze today, 850s, 890s, I just don't see how I'm going to get involved in this unless this market starts to settle down and create some better structure for me to really warrant wanting to play. There's the front run. There's no way they don't take that out. There's no way they don't take that out. Seriously? Make sure I'm accurate on it. Oh, it's right here. They did take it out and they popped it by a tick. Viewing the hourly. Yeah, like we talked about. We're just... Oh my God, I get so frustrated with chat sometimes. This is why you need to get here in the morning. We went over this morning, right? We went over it. I was willing to be a buyer above or at this top of the grey box and above it, but I saw divergence as we played into it, so I became less interested. All right, I used my brain to prevent me from doing it. I agree. We're in a buy model. We've talked about that numerous times, which is why I didn't want to be short unless we left this grey box for a rotation back down to here. It gets so tiring having to say the same thing a million fucking times. Honestly, it's like you guys won't turn up or won't learn. It's exhausting. All right, ES really getting going here, finding strength above its VWAPs now. So the bid coming in strong now. And the question really is this grey box now. Can they hold bids above previous day high, above this node here now? They've done a lot of work there. That's where the works come in. Chips are still not doing anything. So rotation into mag now. Tesla's still driving really well, really well. 3.21% up. Mag look pretty good. Other than Google and Amazon, everything's very, very healthy. Very, very healthy. And this is the big call wall today. So if they can get going, 890s is what they want. They might as well call it 900. So we'll see now. If we reset now that we've built liquidity, I will look to see if we're willing to hold. Yes, right back up towards its New York Open. 735 is a big level on the spiders, by the way, where you broke down from. That's your big call wall. That's your first call wall on the SPY, 735. So if you come flying through there, you're still like, the difference is ES and SPY are just well within their pre-market levels, right? They haven't broken out. They found a bid, but they haven't broken out. They're not even above the New York Open right now. Thing probably wants up here. It's just where can we get involved now? We've broken out. Very hard. Very hard to get involved now. I think we have to wait to see if we reset at 800s. Again, very hard to warrant it with what's going on in the other names. Held orb, yeah, it did hold the orb here. You're right. Right here. It did, in this little low volume node. That was probably the opportunity. Let's see if we come back down and in or not. And 735 spiders, very, very important. Okay, chips look like they've put in that higher low we talked about now. So they're looking for that quasi move back up, which will give this market strength if it does it. I would like this to just reset back into sort of 800, 790 so I can see how we act down there before I do anything else. Perfect Tyson trade setup. You're a troll. Surely you're a troll. How's there a perfect Tyson trade setup when we haven't set an initial balance yet? You've got to be trolling at this point. I can't deal with it. I can't deal with the stupidity. If that's not a troll comment, if that's a genuine comment, I can't deal with it. I don't know how to help you. All right, I'm waiting to see if we reset into 790s, 800s here. Yes, into its 24-hour VWAP. Unk Brain, don't worry, you can go then. You can go. You're not being forced to be here, mate. Fucking hell, you lot are on fire today. on absolute fire today. Sellers getting stuck here at 830s. I'm waiting for a reset here for it to come. It might not come. I'm waiting for a reset. It doesn't look like it's going to come. It just looks like it's going to go. They're just going to squeeze it. Yeah, it's not going to fill me. There's no chance of getting a reset here. I'm going to be left twiddling my thumbs. Mate, even that excess there is awful as well. Everything about this is not clean. The 1 hour is nuts. Not really. Not really. If you look at this 1 hour print, what is it, like 60, 70 points? It's not that big. Not that big. They are holding these 30s though. There are sellers trapped up here. Right in here. These sellers keep reloading from this candle here. They are trapped up here. I'm waiting to see if we come back down into value right now, into this, through this low volume node to test value, somewhere down here where these buyers got aggressive, and then to see if they're willing to rebid it. I want to see if these buyers are still there or if they've taken their exit. That's what I'm waiting for at the moment before I do anything else. It's just not going to do it. I think they're just going to slowly drift this up all day again. They've probably caught enough down there and they're just going to slowly drift and drift and drift now without giving a reset. And the big area that I would have liked to have been a buyer at today was down here. But again, we left the station early. We've left the station early. No reset at all. Here comes the squeeze. More and more and more and more and more and more. That's all we're trying to do at the moment. Little wiggle here on the tape in front of these 30s. Buyers getting a little bit caught here. They're starting to be very aggressive here at 40s. Very aggressive here at 40s. If they don't get their left soon, they're going to be upset. So ping pong basically from 45 to 30 right now. So buyers are still piling in here. I don't know what these guys are doing. Man, they've loaded the boat here at 40s. They've just loaded the boat here, market buying. If they don't get their move soon, they're going to get very, very upset. Here's the 30s where the seller got stuck. These buyers, if we go under 30s, these buyers are going to get very upset. They keep piling in here. There's the 30 hold. Still they're bidding. Still they're bidding. Still they're bidding. It's insane. Thirties is the level. Still they're bidding. It's mad. ES is coming right back in and these guys are just pinning it. Here they come. Non-stop bid here. Like, it's literally a non-stop bid here. If they don't get this break, they are fucked. Like, this is a huge... Look at this on the tape. Just printing buys right now. Here they go. They're going to get it. Printing buys up here right now. Very, very, very aggressive buying up here. Very aggressive. Look at all this. All this. Non-stop market buying. slamming it. Buy, 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 buy. They're literally slamming it to try and squeeze this up. Here they go. So they're going to get their move now, and they're going to look for 890s on a squeeze. That was very aggressive for a good 4 or 5 minutes there. There's the squeeze out. Here they go. Whoa! 30s is your level, remember. ES just dropped straight down to PDC and got scooped up there. Oh, what a tape. What a tape. All right, SOXL finding a bid right back up to its 160s. If they print through 160s on the chips, this thing will start squeezing big time. And still we wait. Buyers are fucked. They are not fucked. They are still above the 30s, mate. They are not fucked. They probably sold on that push. And then they'll be looking for 90s now. They're definitely not fucked. In ES, this is what's interesting, is the huge divergence here. ES just came straight down to PDC, all right, flushed PDC and found a bid. Like, flushed to PDC, found a bid. Still not above its New York Open. These are very, very different charts right now. We are chopping and chopping and grinding and grinding. This is their target right now, 890, 930s. Probably 900, and then you'd have to argue 29,000 to be honest. Yeah, SOXL breakout, that's what we said here, isn't it? 160s. If it holds a print over 160s, it's got a chance to go. Remember, high of day, though, you've got to get over that morning print to break out technically on the day. But it has reclaimed the 160. 162.83, so we can just call it, I'd say any hold over 162, then they're looking for 165. Gap fill will be 165.90s, so we can just call it 166. You're not touching it? Yeah, same as me. I'm waiting at the moment. Waiting at the moment because they're wiggling around. There's some very, very big players today on the tape. And I will just keep repeating myself because some of you seem to need to like punch buttons all the time. The divergence is massive right now. It is big. VIX finding a bid in front of 17s. This will end in tears. It's just which way does it end in tears in? I'll be aggressive if and when there's something very, very clean. Not until then. This is just how trading is. Yesterday we made what, like 200-300 points. Day before we had 300 points. Day before that, hardly anything. Today, hardly anything. This is part of it. Some of you seem to think you're going to win every trade and market's always going to move perfectly for you, and it's just not. That's just not how it is. If it was like that, everyone would do it as a profession. CTO's pumping. Well, they have been risk on, yeah. $160 is still that level. It's coming right back into it. I would just love this to reset. I'd love this to reset down here. And then one of these, especially if we build liquidity there and reset. And if we lose that, obviously not trading it for the rotation. I'm not thinking short until we're underneath all this, really. Unless we really swipe and then trap and then offer something. Certainly not going to short in a node here as we grind up. New all-time highs right now. We're not picking tops, that's for sure. Same as we talk about every day. Here come the buyers again. They're trying to lift this. They're really trying to squeeze this. They're fucking piling in on the tape. Look at this. Here they come. There you go. They're trying to get up to that 890s. They are piling in right now. SOXL back above that 160. So this thing can get going now. It's got the chance to get going now if it wants. These are the targets if it can get going. Again, not in it, not seeing what I like today to trade. $890 target. Yeah, that's your first target. You might as well call it 900. But that's your first big call ball is 890. You want to watch 7,400 on ES that as it comes into it now. That's a big call ball there as well, which is basically your high of day in the New York session. Here it comes. Here comes the scream. Look, these guys are piling in. This is a very aggressive buy tape this morning. Very, very aggressive since they've held. This is where they're coming from. I wouldn't be surprised basically to see us up here today, given the aggression on this tape right now. I really wouldn't be surprised at all at this point. And I'm not even annoyed with myself. We said we'd short under here on weakness, we'd buy above here on strength. And the divergence here just keeping me out and not really coming back to what I wanted. I don't even hate myself for not trading that. I think it's fine. I'd rather be safe than sorry. Yes, failing to get through that 400, failing the New York Open so far. 735 SPY, that's your level on SPY. So you've got divergence again between where they've pinned it, between the ETFs and the futures as well, just to make it even more hard. Yeah, I mean, it was a good retest of the 15-minute warp here. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. If you're just playing that and you're ignoring every other factor, then yes, that's sometimes simplicity is best in this market today. There you go. There's the squeeze out. All right, that's their first target. Look at all these stops getting run. This is going berserk now. SOXL is about to break high of day. This is going absolutely berserk. So here's your TP1. The next target would be 930, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see 29,000 today. The way that they're flying in, it is so aggressive on this tape. The way that they're flying in, it's not normal. They are, honestly, when I say that, they are really being aggressive as buyers. They're not like waiting for dips. They're just literally, it's like they're doing this on market buy non-stop. If you watch the tape, it's non-stop. ES again rejecting its New York Open. So huge divergence there. New all-time highs on the NQs. ES can't even get through its New York Open. Just had the door slammed in its face. SPY just had 735 slammed in its face. ES just had 7,400 slammed in its face, right? Very, very, very different markets at the moment. Any big lots? I mean, those were all huge lots. Yeah, when I'm saying that, like, huge lots, huge lots, huge lots, huge lots here at 57s. Yeah, let me in the group chat. That's what I always say. Let me in that. I want to be in that group to know when we're all treating it like a small cap. All right, I would say 58 here is a big level. It's where the big players have come in. If they protect 58s, they're going to keep trying to visit higher and higher and higher and higher. We've developed a node down here. We've got to move this up. All right, but 58's right here. That's where they've come in, where we're trading into right now. This is where big buyers have been positioned. 58s and then 42s, all right? So all the time they're holding that, they still have upside in them. Feels like a blow off top, but the divergence, man, honestly, I don't know how I'm going to bid this today, seeing what we just saw. Look at SOXL rejection of 162. So that rejected its high day break. Let me see where. Quick look. Give us a second. Who's the big runners today? Palantir, Oracle, Tesla, Microsoft. I mean, this is. Come on, FinViz. I fucking give up using that piece of shit, honestly. Try it on another browser. Let's see if I can show you guys on another browser. All right, so good hold of 58 where I said those buyers are. They just came in and protected it. Oh, it is Finviz. It's not even my computer, Finviz. It's scrappy. All right, so you can see strength coming in tech. Look at the weakness. Healthcare, energy, industrials, which is YM. But these are your ES, all right? And this is more NQ weighted. So strength coming. Microsoft, NVIDIA, Tesla, Oracle, Palantir. All right, that's where the strength's coming from. And look at this recovery over here that we talked about this morning. All right, big recovery. There's the higher low we talked about. We talked about can they hold this higher low? Do they do a quasi? The answer is yes. There's your New York Open. All right, so if they fail this, they come back down and test this. If they print over New York Open, we gap fill. All right, these are the divergences at play. You just have to understand that they are at play today. It's just how it is. Again, no trades still for me, just that 1 or 2 attempts down here at the lows on these breakdowns. Now nothing, because it hasn't given me the buy that I want. It's probably just going to go in slow grind all day without me. I don't think this is done at the moment. We've got Hammock talking. I don't think anyone gives a shit because he's not saying anything positive in the market. It's just this like, hold my beer, we're going up. Guys, I'm here to trade. This is not a Q&A session, okay? Like, some of you are like on crack today on chat. I don't know what's happened, but it's actually insane. Sells are paying, not on NQ, they're not. There's no sell in this. We're at all-time high. If you're selling this, you're guessing the top. We've had no breakdown. We've got no trap volume. There's nothing. Please, guys, I'm asking you, like, kindly, human to human, please stop with the bullshit in chat. It's getting ridiculous. Please stop. All right, please. We're waiting for the next trade setup. Please just chill and wait. All right, we have many great days here. We will have one again if we can be patient. But I'm asking you guys to be polite. Stop being stupid, asking really silly questions non-stop, please. Otherwise, it's real simple. I'll just hurt everyone and just trade by myself. We're in Discord. Please, just stop. All right, ES still holding VWAPs. Still can't break out of the New York Open. Still can't break through the 400s. Spiders, same thing. Still stuck underneath 735. NQ still slowly drifting. Chat's moving crazy today. Well, you're moving crazy today because you haven't seen what you wanted and you're all desperate to get something straight away. Still holding for now. Remember, the big buyer came in at 58, so that's the level we're watching. A seller just came in at 80s, but we're still absorbing the bid. 58 is still the level of that big buyer. Once they lose 58s, they probably come and test 30s. That's when I'm going to first perk my interest. But if ES is going to roll over, it's going to make it very hard. But this grey box is of interest to me. But first 58s, have to watch how we act to 58s. ES still holding its view ups. Don't think SOXL looks like it's quite done yet. Might need a reset to VWAP before it makes a decision on SOXL. So we're going to probably come and test 58 and see if this buyer is still here or if he got his exit on that swipe. If he got his exit, we'll probably start swiping down. So this is why I'm waiting to see what happens when we come into 58s. See if this guy wants to buy again here. It's the biggest buy delta of the day right now. At the moment they're protecting it. So sellers came in at 79s and buyers came in at 58s. That's the transition basically. You can basically call it 60 to 80. That's your 20-point transition of control right now at these highs. If we start losing 58s, we probably come down towards the 25, certainly to 42s. ES right into its VWAP. I mean, the divergence here is massive. ES is right down here. Here's the 58s. While SOXL tries to break out the highs, watching this 58s very, very carefully. They're still bidding here. They lose this bid, there'll be a little flush, especially if ES rolls over. They're still bidding 58s. All right, the buyer's still there for now. So remember, 58s to 78 is the transition. Doesn't 42s have more delta? No, 58s does. That's why I keep saying it. Still seeing absorption down there. They're not done. They're not done yet. They're absorbing it in front of it. Yeah, still holding both its VWAPs as well. Still they're holding it. There you go. Back up towards test these 80s where the sellers came in. There's a little imbalance up here. This is a big battle now. It's a big battle here. ES still holding its VWAPs, but still can't get over that New York Open. Remember, 7,400 ES, 735 SPY. That's your cool walls. The biggest cool walls on the day. We can't get over those on the spiders. SOXL is still trying to break out to the high side. Still can't get over its New York Open either. It's banging on the door. It is banging on the door. So much liquidity higher here that they keep adding up to 900. They're stuck at these 80s. So here's the transition we've just done, basically 60 to 80. We just talked about that. That's where the seller came in, 80. 58 is where the buyers are holding. That's your transition, 20 points. Yeah, initial balance now set. You are absolutely right. Look at the weekly chart, beautiful. I mean, with all due respect, it's kind of pointless looking at the weekly chart when we're day trading. It's great for swings, but doesn't really help us for price action now, does it? Okay, so 80 rejection, back down towards these 60s. Still haven't tapped 58. It's still absorbing in front of 58. Lots of bids here. 65, 60, 55, 50, 45, 40. Then there's a bit of room to 25. Lots of sellers here. 85, 90, 95, 900. We're just pinned in while they make their decision. ES looks like it's trying to get going to the upside. If it does, it will drag this market up with it if it can get through that 400. That to the 80s. ES looking like it wants to go. This is the battle. Every micro dip just being absorbed here. Not what I want to see as a value buyer. I'm trying to wait for this to come down to a level of interest for me. ES rejecting up there, back to VWAP again. Oh my God. They cannot make their mind up here. Remaining hands off until we see something. We have to vacate 58s and flush down and trap for me to bid back up. Or nothing. And another dip hold on VWAP on ES. Time for my coffee. Well, I don't want to miss the move. SOXL getting very tight up here into 62s. Break and hold above, 65. Failure here. Back down to VWAP, I'd say, on SOXL. I don't want to miss the move here, so I'm trying to be patient. Here comes a buyer at 71s here, 100 lot now. Stacked up, trying to bid 71s. That's very kind of you. Thank you, Sarah. I will absolutely have one tonight. Thank you very much. All right, here's that buyer still stacked here at 70s. Still looking to reload here at 70s, 100 lot. Here they go. They're going to try and squeeze this back up. So they're trying to use him. And ES trying to break. They're not done with it. This is they're definitely not done with this. It's a shame we're not resetting for a value buy, but that's how it is at the moment. It's a sign of this market. Everyone's probably trying to guess the top, and so we can keep going higher. This is going to happen until they get the blowout and get the exit. We're going to go higher and higher and higher in the market until they get their exit. The more that people keep guessing the top, the more that this is going to keep doing moves like this, which are tough for me because, you know, I'm interested in being a buyer probably here, or really today I wanted to be a buyer down here. But these are what happens in environments when we're squeezing. Very shallow. You want me to get the coffee so you get the move? All right, deal. I'll get a refill while you get the move. That's fine. Did it do it? Oh, it's a bad break. There you go. It's coming. ES now doing it. ES now doing it. Well, flows on longs playing. There's just no deep pullback for me. Here we go. So your next level is 930. Honestly, I think we probably go 29,000. Honestly, they're that aggressive on the tape. So SPY 735, you're starting to get through it now. Can they base above 735? If they base above 735, they've got a chance to squeeze out pre-market highs. I'd say there's a bit of a shelf on SPY 735 40s. You get through that. Is that a dark pool print this morning? It looks like a dark pool print up to 37.94s. So I'd be using 35.40s, 35.50s is your SPY break, basically. All right, they've come in and absolutely banged this at 900. Just added like a couple hundred more lots. Just market buy, market buy, market buy, market buy. Non-stop today, aggressive buying on the tape. You don't want to fight this, folks. You do not want to fight an aggressive tape like this. They are non-stop. Smack, smack, smack. They're literally just market buy, market buy, market buy, market buy. It's not even dips and passive liquidity. They are just ramming this higher. And it's probably a lot of shorts getting very, very hurt, I would imagine, up at these levels who are guessing tops. And we've got no liquidity to play off sell side, and we're not. I'm not brave enough to bid these low volume nodes at all-time highs. I'm just not. I need resets for me to really want to play, and we're not seeing it, and that's okay. We just sit still. No tech retrace ever. Yeah, well, that's basically the story. That is, I mean, we joke, but that is pretty much the story right now. If you look at like, right, if we think about this on a daily, I mean, that is basically the story, right? From 1 year ago, right? Like May last year, you could have bought it at 34, 35 bucks. We're now at 1,500 bucks a share. I mean, that is quite literally the story. That's what we're in. You want to know what a squeeze looks like in tech? That's what it looks like. Yeah, that's how you become a millionaire in a year, if you've got real confidence in positioning. All right. All right, a bit of an exit there, over 900. Back to this shelf again. So a bit of an exit there at 900. They're still bidding it, guys. They're still bidding it, I'm telling you. At the moment, they're still bidding it. And you're still seeing every single pullback just be slammed back to the upside. But certainly 900, we have 100 lot who bought up there. Maybe they got their exit. We do have good excess, but you know, bids still 58, still the level for me. They are still holding everything above 58 right now. ES back above the 7.4s and SPY back above the 7.35s that we talked about. SPY did just reject a little bit in front of that pre-market high, 7.35.40. Once you get the break there, I think you really get going on the SPY. When they let go of it, it'd be interesting. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. But we need a shift. You're going to need a shift in narrative or tone to let go, right? At the moment, what's the reason to sell? We're not seeing anything, right? We're seeing, I mean, we've priced in best possible outcome right now with, I'd say, like AI going to take over the world, CapEx spend's okay, nothing in Iran's ever going to cause a problem. We're going to ignore inflation because it doesn't exist. You know, maybe that narrative changes on a bad print. But for now, macro environment is up, 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 up. And fundamental environment is price in best possible scenario. Back to these 90s again. There's a little imbalance down here. They're still holding these 90s. ES is now holding its New York Open. Some serious strength to continue to bid here. It's serious, folks. This is serious. This is non-stop. Non-stop bid. They've got a target in mind, clearly. All right, that 900 for the first time we're seeing that reject there. That 100 lot up there. Once they reclaim it, they'll make new highs again. It sounds like pre-bubble. I mean, lots of people are saying that. The thing is, what happens if they're right? What happens if they're right with AI and everyone thinks it's a bubble and actually they're just really well positioned? Back above the 900, new highs coming, I think, now. They'll try and rip up here now. It's, again, non-stop bid. Here they come. Market, 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 buy, 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 buy. If you just watch the tapes, all they're doing. It's not even waiting for pullbacks. It's something else. Honestly, this is something else. They've clearly got a target in mind that they need to get to, because you won't see aggressive buying like this otherwise at all-time highs. They'd be playing dips, right? We're not playing dips. If you think these are dips for big players. These are not dips for big players, right? They're not looking at a 1 minute chart, all right? Because this is where we are, and they are hammering in market buys up here, right? Dips would be really down here, right? A little reset. This is just a straight pumper, all right? This is a straight pumper. They are absolutely hammering this. I don't know what their exit is. I would imagine the whole number at the moment. I'd imagine 29,000. Yeah, this is one of those days where it's a close your eyes and buy scenario, isn't it? It's just one of those days. They are not done. They are still coming in here. This is incredible. ES really getting going, like we talked about, over the 400s. SPY now over that pre-market level. So that NQ can have, because we have relative strength here in NQ. Remember, we're up 0.68% today on NQ versus 0.19% in ES. If the whole market starts to find a risk on bid here, NQ can go absolutely berserk because it's risk on. Flush to VPOC. I think you're asking a lot right now. It doesn't want to come anywhere near that right now. You're asking an awful lot. You're asking an awful lot. Let's have a look what the IB extension would be. There you go, 29,000. That makes sense to me. Whole number. 29K. All right, they're coming to test this 900 again. Remember, this is where they bid aggressively. This is where a big buyer came and stepped in to cause this squeeze. 900, they lose 900. There's no real big players then until we get down to 58 and 42s. Yeah. Okay, under the 900s. Sellers coming in here. Who's brave enough to take it? Not me at the moment. All right, into a little imbalance here. If they start to set lower highs, lower lows, maybe I'd consider a small retracement back to 55s. Here comes the flush down to the 70s and 80s. This is where the sellers last came in. Back down to these 55s now. ES now coming back inside. Be very careful. SPY cleared out pre-market highs and has come straight back into 735. I think the divergence is going to fuck my head today. I'm going to be honest with it. I think it's really going to mess with my head. 900 is your big level, and 80s is where the sellers came in. They've just been absorbed there again. If they fail 900s, or they fail this little imbalance at 91, there's an argument under 80 for it to come down to 58s like we talked about before. But remember, this is the counter trend move. Really, you'd want ES to fail with it if we're going to look for this. Very hard move to take, but we have a chance to come back into this grey box here if we start to vacate all of this. So if you're adamant, if you're absolutely adamant on the counter trend move, what you'd want is this here. All right, and you better be covering a good chunk into that or into this. I'm not telling you to take it. I'm saying if you're adamant that you have to be trading counter trend, because I know some of you are like that. They're back in sync more than open. Yeah, I mean, they are. But just look at SPY. Look at that little sweep of the pre-market highs. That 735 is going to be key on SPY. Right, so we swept, came down, held. If they can keep holding the base there at 735, the drift higher is available. If they can't, the trade back inside the range starts to happen again. Look at SOXL back down to VWAP. We talked about that. If it fails IB, it comes to VWAP. It's done that move. They can bid here on SOXL if they want. It's decision point time in the market right now. Honestly, it is decision point time in this market. And it would be nice if we can get one nice trade today. Starting to see it get stuck at 90s. It's so tempting to put a little piece on here for the counter trend move. Do I bother? So many bids here at 75s to 55s. Do we bother fighting the tape, or do we just let it come in? I tell you what, if I see a strong rejection of 90s or 900s, I'll put a little piece on, small size. Starting to see them sell this more aggressively here. They're trying. I want to see this seller 181 lot retested, like we're about to here. I want to see him retested first, which is basically into sort of just above 90s. I want to see him retested. He's at 92s, I think, and see if he's still there before I even think about a counter trend. Oh, I hate these trades if I'm going to take it. This is his level. This is where he was right now. Back above the 900. No counter trend. No, we're going to keep going higher. That's why we wait. That's why we wait. Long for 60. Yeah, this is what I was saying. I would like us to come down into here. And then we can bid. Yeah, that's what I would like. We're not seeing that right now, though. Here we go. So ES holding the 400s, going for 405s. That's your C2 level. Through that, it's got the highs of 410s and then 415s. Spiders is going for 36s now. What a bid. What a strong, aggressive bid we're seeing today. They just absorbed again there at 900. So there's a player coming in trying to hold 900 now. There was a micro little dip there at 900 and they absorbed in front of it. So you've got a new buyer trying to hold 900s now. Yeah, that's me too, just a spectator today. Pre-market plan was pretty simple. Buy over this on a break and hold. Sell under this on a break and sell down to there and then buy it back. This I didn't take because of what I saw. This I did take and tried to get heavy and stopped out, which is fine. We don't add into the loser. And then we've been away ever since. Regret this? I don't actually. I didn't like what I was seeing on the tape there. So, yeah, we can look at where price is now, but I can go back and watch what was happening there, and it wasn't very pretty. Chips were weak. ES was weak. We would have to bid up off structure only without alignment. That's just not what I do. The idea of buying the open and hold doesn't sound too bad. I mean, you would have had to sit through not that much drawdown, I guess, 40 points, but I mean that's not a strategy, my friend. It's what's paying, but that's where people will like go, oh well, this paid today, I'll do this tomorrow, and then tomorrow you buy the open and you gap down 200 points on it. Do you know what I mean? Like you can't just because it does something one day doesn't mean it does it the next. I'm certainly not fighting this. We are just drift. Do we have any levels above this? Yeah. All right, yes, through the 405s now. So the next thing it's going to go for is its pre-market highs at 410 and then 415. We are risk on. This thing is mega squeeze right now. They're just piling in right now again. Here you go. Here they go. How high can they go? That's all they're doing right now. It's just a game of like how much money can we make going upside. They are looking for the 29,000. You can see it on the book now for the first time today. Yeah, no real sellers. That's right. I agree with you. No real sellers. Very aggressive buyers, though, I will say. It's not like a huge amount of absorption. It's very aggressive buying today, interestingly. It makes me laugh when people say like easy longs, easy this, easy that. I mean, we haven't swept one person today. You could say, yeah, flow zone longs, let's just take this. We haven't swept anything out all day long, even at the lows. It makes me laugh. People make money. Oh, it's easy. And the next day they lose money. Oh, I fucking hate trading. Easy this, easy that. Hard this, hard that. Yeah, trading's just so easy, mate. It's so easy. All right, so they'll see if they can hold this now at 9:30. They're not resetting to anything right now. Up, 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 up. I'm telling you, 29,000. I think we said at the start of the day. They've just decided. We're going 29,000. We don't fucking care. We're buying everything until we get there. That's what it feels like to me. All right, back to this 9:30. Let's see if they bid this. They're trying to bid it. Yep, they're bidding it again here for now. Here's the wiggle at 30. That's where the buyers came in. The sellers came in at 20s. Who's the market leader today? Microsoft. They'll break out there. Meta, Microsoft, trying to get back up towards highs. Tesla's coming right back in. Where is this strength coming from? Oracle breaking down. It's kind of weird if I'm honest. Look at Tesla back at VWAP, rejected IB. Nvidia, it's holding its print at the highs. In fairness, it's only $1 under. It's trying to hold its print, but it's under IB. It's not in breakout of current session, but it's trying. Softy found a bid at VWAP's trying to get back up to IB. Meta pulling back off its IB, off that 25 level that we talked about pre-market. Google trading at the lows, trying to curl. Amazon trading at the lows, trying to curl. Apple trying to get going, found a bid at 290s. So holding 290s on Apple. That's pretty strong. High of days at 92s basically on Apple. So it's trying to get back up towards there. 92 break gets it to 95. Maybe that's where some of the strength's coming from today. So gap and hold. Gap up, dip, hold, breakout, pull back, hold 90. Got to make its mind up soon. ES just running now. About to take it out. It's pre-market high now on ES. Mate, I'm going to sit here with nothing, I can tell. Took a short because it filled its 2-minute fair value gap. Don't know what you're talking about, mate. It's holding all bids right now. There's no volume trapped at the moment. These type of markets best to let alone if you're new, leave alone if you're new. No, I don't think so. It's just like any market, it's finding a position. Market that's at some point in the market you've got to go risk on. So, you know, it's where to go risk on right now. For me, this is a very, very clear squeeze up. All right, this is a very clear squeeze up. It's when are they done with it? Are you going to play the counter trend back in, or are you going to wait for the bid back up? That's like the question for now. It's the first time we're seeing some kind of rejection at 30s. They had the ability to hold 30s. They're now failing 30s. We're still above the IB print though. And remember, 900's the level. And then what were the other levels? 58s, 46 and 42s. Still above the IB. Still above that 900. That's where they bid aggressively. We start to lose that, and then certainly there's an argument then that we come and test this 83 and 58s again. Here's the 900. So if we start to get heavy here, I will consider a counter trend trade. But at the moment, these are the levels that they've enjoyed absorbing today. 405 again, ES, and it didn't take out pre-market highs on the ES, didn't take out Globex high. 700 on the QQQ being absorbed. All right, so 700, 701 got sold into. We don't have, do we have another wall? We don't have anything over there right now, 0DTE. They need to put some new prints in over 701s. So this is the level here. We're in the level here, the 900, the initial balance, right? We're in these kind of levels. We start to let go of grey box. I'm more interested, and not really before. Maybe a scalp before only. So they're still bidding the 900s here. We did leave buyers trapped at 29s. 29s and 38s. 29s and, yeah, 38s. The ES didn't take out that Globex high yet. It's so tempting to get a feeler on here, but we are still front side. We have not broken any structure. We are holding prints. It's tempting to get a feeler on up here. Small size. Big seller at 900? No. No, there's not a big seller at 900. There's some selling, but that's 900 is where the big buyer came in this morning. So he's still comfortable. A 230 lot buyer, market buyer came in there this morning. A little imbalance up here for sellers up to 18s, 17s to 18s. Waiting to see what happens if they lift up. All right, I've put a small piece on there. I might regret this. If we hold 900, I'm going to regret it. I'm not going to give it any wiggle room above 20. It's front side. I saw enough wiggle on that tape on that first move. They might want to lift to 50 again. So I'm not going to give it room over 20. It's a tiny piece, folks. Just a feeler. It's counter trend. I will remind you, this is the hardest trade in the book to take. But I saw enough of a wiggle there on the tape. We've got to break under 900s here, though. So I'm short. Here we go. The 900 is a big level. They've got to break under this, and we need to come and visit 82s, and we need to come and do it fast. And then if we start to see heaviness, I'll start to add in. Remind you, it's very, 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 very hard to trade this way. This is the hardest trade. If you're a new trader, I do not advise trading like this. This is the hardest trade in the book. Under 900s, good. Can we stay heavy under this, please? Don't want to see absorption here. They're bidding down at 60s right now. Yes, back to those 405s. Would like them to let go of 405s and come back to 400s. That will help us out a little bit. Sellers trying to pile in here, which makes me more uncomfortable, if anything. Here we go. See if we can trade down into this next imbalance towards 85s here. Here we go. So some bid stacking here, 95 down to 60s. Be good if we can fill these. Here we go. $700 on QQQ key. We're starting to let go of it, which is really nice. So timing in this is quite good right now. If you want to pay yourself a bit here, you can, obviously. I'm looking for a deeper move if possible. But remember, we're counter trend, steady as we go. Here's the 85 imbalance. Really good. All right, let's see if we can get into value area high of 70s, moving my stop into the money. Beautiful. And if we get under this grey box, we'll see a flush. Beautiful. Here we go. See? Calm. This is what happens when you just let me do my thing. Beautiful. Enough of a wiggle on the table. I'm going to stop moving down now, chasing price. Be nice now if we reject 80s, ideally 80s to 83s. Remember, this grey box is important. It's our over-under right now. Sellers coming in, starting to see that flush. Nice. Into this low volume node at 58. Remember, 58 is a big level. It's where the player was this morning, covering some into 58, seeing if we can expand now. Beautiful. Under 58, moving my stop down a little bit more. Looking to see if we can trade to 37s now. See how I say, if you're just patient with me, we'll get a trade. If you're just nice to me in chat, we will get a trade. Just requires a lot of patience. Beautiful. All right, ES coming into IB, so getting prepared to cover a decent chunk of position here. ES into that 7,400 IB, taking some covers here as well. Looking probably going to lift this to 80 shortly, 70 to 80, and then we can see if they stay heavy for a reload or if they reclaim. All right. So here we go. We got short up here. Look at that. It's a pretty good short. Short up here on the pop. I saw enough of a wiggle there to get me involved. And I added as we start to break, covering here. We'll see if they reject this or not. This can be the first sweep of the day. If they reclaim this, they go back upside. See, like, so much easier for me to trade when everyone's just a little bit chill. It just takes patience. Like you would have seen me say today, trading is such a game of patience. Are you willing to sit and wait and wait and wait? I've talked about it to you guys so many times. And when it's there, attack. Feel it on, starts to break down, size. Take your money off, be done, wait for the next play. Look at that bounce on ES, so that IB high. So IB high on ES is a big level for options traders, and it's also an RBS zone. All right. If you look at that on the SPY, it is also an IB high, and it's your pre-market high. Right. So we did a breakout pullback. For anyone that trades options, right, you should be aware of this right now. And there's well breakout of the pre-market high. All right, I'm going to assume that this is a dark pool over here. All right, the breakout the pre-market high. That's your level. That's your pullback in. There's your covering. All right, so if you're short, you're covering because you're going to expect buyers to turn up here. And what happens here now becomes important. Do they sell it back down? Do they reclaim and go for more? That's why we covered a good chunk of Qs into that same level. We have to watch everything at once. We risk on and risk off when we're together. Good morning, Alex. Over the last several months, I've really enjoyed trading and learning your process and a view of the market. While I don't exclusively use your strategy, it has helped noticeably reduce my losses, and I'm up 450% during that time period. Thank you for doing so. With a $100 tip. Tyler, you are very kind, my friend. You didn't need to do that. But I tell you what, I'm very, very grateful for your kindness. It's very kind. And I'm also, more than that, I'm very, very happy of what you've said there, that you have your own strategy, but my strategy or my calls, basically what you're saying, give you confidence and confluence for what you do. And you're up 450% over a few months. That's fantastic, mate. Fantastic trading. Great work. Great work. All right, this 880s to 890s is key now. I'm flat on this currently. I'm just watching to see what happens. And if you're like, la, 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 giving me all that shit today, which you guys seem to love to do, right? This is where we're at right now, right? So we're trading one account at the moment. All right, I haven't touched my Lucids. I've got some more Lucids to add to that big winner. All right, so this is my pro account, $1,500 in that. I was aggressive. Once we start to break down, I'll show you my big Lucid one. I haven't touched today because I haven't liked what I've seen. Right, so I'm a bit more cautious. This one that's up 11,000. All right, I haven't touched it today. I'm waiting to see like a nice pro trend to make it easy for me. Right, the pro trend would be a nice bullish move back up to make it easy for me. Patience is the only thing that will pay you. That's it, man. It's the truest thing ever. This is why I get frustrated sometimes when, and it's not all of you, but when guys come and chat for 10 minutes and then they're like, I met the guy this morning who was like, oh, thanks for that shit trade. Dude, it's 9:45. You're 15 minutes into the day. You've got a whole day ahead of you. All right? We tried here. I think we added here. We added heavy here. We stop out. Okay. Like you would have heard me say, I added heavy at the low. My core's come down. I've got to be careful. All right? So I take my core off because I don't want to give back on a swipe, a big loss. Swipe up, come down, try again. Takes it off. All right? We wait. What did I want? A revisit of this and go. Don't get it. Okay. I don't get what I want. Okay. That's fine. I find it hard. This is just an Alex thing in general. When we're in squeeze mode like this and we don't run stops, I find it very hard to warrant buying. It's much easier if we do a 2-leg down to here now. This is going to be a much easier place for me to warrant buying once we've washed out all the stops, for example. Okay. So all I have to do, 1, stick to my strategy. 2, wait. Right? And if I don't see what I want, how can I explain this? You don't have to be in a trade all the time, right? Your job is to try and identify when you want to be risk on and when you want to be flat. And if you're wrong, to take it off, right? So I was wrong, clearly wrong down here. So we take it off. I don't add all the way up here like these idiots probably have, which is why we've gone up. I'm missing this while I'm talking now. All right. So that was the move that we just talked about, 80s to 90s rejection. I would be very careful here. Remember, 58s remains a level. All right. 58s is this big buy point. Look, they tried to bid it again. Right. This isn't the first time today they've bid it. 1, 2, 3. Lots of guys bidding 58s. You would have heard me talk about it down into here as well. 58s right here. All right, this big player here. This is the level for me that matters. This here matters right now. All right, if you see acceptance under this, then you can think about maybe testing some of these sellers in this high volume node down here. So 38 to 27. If you see a flush of that, you've got a low volume node. We can potentially travel down to 94. Maybe if you get lucky, value area low for the day, given that we've been in a giant squeeze up. And I'd imagine SOXL is starting to roll over if we're seeing this. Yes, so failed to break the highs. Here you go. All right, so this morning when we traded short, we were trying to join this move here on SOXL. Once we see this, I said to you, it will make a decision here or here. We go upside. Sweep the high, failure, back to midpoint. This matters now on SOXL. If they sell chips today, we come down, we go risk off in the late morning, early afternoon. If they want to go into balance today, we do this. Yeah, there's your balance. There's your IB high, IB low. I try and help you guys. Like most of you are like the kindest, nicest people, but it's very hard for me within 15 minutes of the morning. Imagine coming here for free, trying to help and have people say, thanks for that shit trade. Or imagine waking up to people emailing me with like really nasty messages. It's not very nice. It's not very nice. I talked about in Discord as well the other day, like you'll get to the point where it becomes second nature. Like you would have heard me say, like, I'm going to put a feeler on here because I've seen something I like. What did I like? What I liked was that buyers tried to lift prices and the sellers who are here started to come down and protect this, all right, leaving this guy trapped. That's why I got a bit early here. And then I started to add for the breakdown, covering into low volume node, right? It's very, very possible now. We do some bullshit here. They can drop it. They can pop it. Here, they have to build liquidity out because we've just done a really nice move off the high. What I would say is you've swept. Think about everyone who joined from, let's just call it 1020. All right, bulls, 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 bulls. Everyone from there just stopped out. All right, they just stopped out. That's why we take profit into these kind of levels. Doesn't mean it can't move lower. But when I'm counter trend, this is counter trend, right? The main trend today is up. There's your pullback. I'm much more careful with my stops because the easier move is this, right? The main trend is this. This is the higher time frame pullback. We're just playing that part of the leg. I'm much more careful with my core positioning. Do I always use SOXL? No. Look, it's a rarity, but the reason I'm using it is because it's the market leader. All right. To give you an example, all right, we're just going to look at the higher time frames. All right, if we go to Meta right now, we go to a daily. All right, Meta sold off on earnings. Right, we're in a giant range basically. If we just zoom out, it's got to make its decision here. Right, failed break above, failed break below. We've spent pretty much 9 months in here in Meta, for example, right? It's a good example. Nvidia's just started to get going. Remember, this is a chip name though, right? It's just started to get going. But where has the market found a bid recently? All right, it's the other chips really when we think about it. Look at the difference, all right? Look at the difference. Remember, this was an 18-day run. It's the biggest run in history on chips. There's your pullback, there's your go again. So why do we watch this? This is where the strength in the QQQ is coming from, all right? So if we think about how a basket works, all right, think about this as a basket, all right? So I call these chips. For you Americans, you might call them semis. I think of a guy with a semi-hard dick when I say that, so I can't say it. Chips, all right, chips. Much more comfortable calling these chips than a semi. All right, so chips. So if this is our basket of chips, oh please don't keep going back. If that's our basket of chips, if we're going to see an environment, right, where we're overextended, let these look like they want a bit more, but where they're overextended and this is the move and they want to pull back in, right? If this is the market leader, if we're going to have a day where this happens, we need to be aware of it for NQ. Yeah, because that's the day where NQ might want to bleed. Might want to bleed. I mean, they've got a long way to go if they want to do a reset, a very long way, and it doesn't look like they do, right? It's pointless me looking at, I don't know, something not in the basket for NQ, something which isn't a market leader. If this is dragging NQ higher, we need to be aware of it, right? This is rare. Like we don't often see this, folks. If we just zoom out, right? We don't often see that, right? This is a giant squeeze. Like I've said, it's happening across the board right now. There you go, giant squeeze. Like I said, could have bought this a year ago for 40, 35, 40 bucks, 1,500 bucks. All right, it's a prime example. So no, the answer to the question, no, I don't always look at them. But at the moment, if it's a market leader, I have to look at it. For example, when we were looking at, let's say you're trading ES and ES is pushing and pushing and pushing, you have to understand what's the sector in ES that's pushing. Is it energy? Is it healthcare? Is it the mag? You know, when YM's pushing, what are you looking at? You're looking at the industrial names. When you get divergence, you have to understanding what you're trading is so important. So many people just go, oh, it's an index, I'm trading it. Okay, great. Well, it's an index made of 100 stocks, or is an index made of 500 stocks, or is an index made of 30 stocks? What are those 30 stocks doing? What are the sectors within those 100, 500, 30 stocks? What are the separate little sectors? What's catching a bid? Yes, Dean. I mean, perfect example there. That's also why you don't flip your index. You've got to know your asset. I agree. It's one of the things I talk about at the very beginning of the 20-hour course. It's like, know what you're trading, know what's inside that asset, know how it operates, how it moves. Like NQ loves to be a little bit of a bitch, right? It loves to overextend moves. It loves to take liquidity. ES likes to trade a lot smoother. Why? Well, ES is the most traded product in the world. It's much thicker. So to do a big stop run on ES is much harder. It has to clear out much more liquidity. You're talking about tens of thousands of lots that need to be cleared out. On NQ, you might be talking about 50 lots at a high, right? Very, very different. To be honest, I can't trade longs. I can only stick to the shorts. You can definitely trade longs. You've just got to train your eye, because if you're trading shorts, let's think about what you're thinking about here. All right, here maybe is your failed follow through. So lower low, lower high, failure, bull stuck at the high, breakdown, right? Maybe you see the same here. If they finish building it, maybe you see this move coming. All you've got to do is invert that. You've got to train your eye to invert it. There is a way of doing it on TradingView where you can do it. Is it like, I don't know if it would do it for this asset, but maybe minus NQ1, will they do it? They used to do it on Thinkorswim and NQ, maybe, or QQQ. Maybe you guys know it. Yeah, there you go. Just invert the chart. That's it. There's actually a way of inverting the chart for you. Maybe you guys know. Rotate your monitor. No, there's. I'm sure it's like minus. I'm sure we put like minus. Let's try it. Minus QQQ. What you could do, I guess, you could do S triple Q. That would help you if you were trading Qs. There you go. S triple Q. Right, there you go. There's your inverted NQ. Right, so there you go. Right, so this is the short index on QQQ. Right, what do you have? Failed break between under IB, hold of this, upside relief into here, which means NQ is now starting to break down that bear flag we just talked about. There you go. So if you can't see one side, use the inverse to help you, I guess. There you go. People are helping you there. You can right click on the price scale to get the inverted chart. There you go. What symbol was I using for semiconductors? SOXL. SOXL. All right, you're coming into this node here, folks, right? This gray box here, it's why we've got it highlighted, all right? This gray box here is important. The bottom side of this gray box, 30s, you will remember, is where these sellers got caught in here this morning. 30s is the big level where sellers got caught this morning. So if we drift in there and they do one of these, they can easily bid back up, right? If they lose 30s, if buyers have got their exit there and we're now backside, we can come right away back down into this. It's a big if, but, and maybe, but that's how the market is, right? It's if, buts, and maybes. All right, I'm going to use the bathroom quickly here and have like a mental reset, because this has felt like a bit of a challenge today. Not so much the charts, but more the chat. But you guys are being pretty sweet right now. And let's see where we're at on the likes. How are we doing on the likes? Not there yet, nowhere near. So let's get up to 1,000 likes. If you get me to 1,000 likes when I get back, we'll do a giveaway. All right, just get up to 1,000 likes and then we'll sort it. I'll be right back. How are we doing? Still chopping around in this zone a little bit. Chopping around a little bit. Iran poses new rule. Is that right? Let me have a look. Vessels need to fill out application for safe passage. New regulations for passage through the Strait of Hormuz. I mean, nothing's that bad. Just filling in some paperwork, it looks like all they're asking for at the moment. ES really starting to dive here, folks. So let's see if you guys are short, you might get the breakdown into VWAP here. ES coming into its VWAP now. There's the break. Joined this then for the break. There you go, into VWAP. And if you trade under this, you're looking for that next one. So there's the liquidity build. There's your TP. There's your next TP down into here. So that's second leg. First leg, second leg. Ideally, they do a measured move, but you want to be paying yourself here. Remember, here was the level earlier. We just went over it. Where did the sellers get trapped earlier? 30s. Where did we just tap into? 30s. What did we flush just below? 30s. Why? Because Enki's a bitch. Like I said, Enki likes to run everyone. Right? So I just added on that now. Again, so there you go. Just more profit locked in. Do. All right? Aggressive when it sets up. Got back to my desk, took it. There we go. This is my pro account. Will be due a payout probably this week again. When to attack, when not to attack. So sellers will want to sell versus 58 to sort of 70 right now. All right, they'll want to protect 58 to 70. If you see buyers take control of that, they'll go back upside. But sellers want to protect this, and they're trying to look to complete this whole move back down. We can think about this as a fib as well for the day. You're probably getting into sort of 50% range. You are, all right? That you're into 50% range. So you do not be too aggressive under this. You want to be locking good money into these levels. Yes, really starting to rotate this whole thing now. Back towards its close price from yesterday. It's the same story over and over again. Do you have the patience? Tyson trade day. Yeah, there you go. Someone said it earlier when we were here, and they're like, Tyson trade setting up. No, there it is. There's your Tyson trade. IB to VWAP. There it is. Failure above initial balance. Backside. Look at the difference. Front side, backside. Easy, right? We don't short on the way up. Backside, 50%. If they bid this, so be it. They bid it. But hopefully you guys are starting to lock in some good money here now. It ain't that hard if you're patient enough. That's the only question. Are you patient enough to trade it? Did I add long on that drop? No, I'm not adding long. I shorted for that move down, for the bear flag breakdown, right? Once we started to lose the bid in here. I'm now out of it. It's just a scalp. And ES coming right back in towards PDC, reclaiming VWAP now as well. How long we got? 30 minutes left. So new 30-minute bar coming. They have probably caught shorts again around 30s. Right, so if we think about this, so where the shorts got caught, 30s, there's a little imbalance underneath. They've just piled in there again. Look at that. Added more pain for themselves at 25s right now. What's my thought on Elliott Wave? Sure, it's good. I use parts of it, I guess, with like 2 legs and stuff, but I'm not a big studier of Elliott Wave. Back to VPOC. 7/4s, key here on ES. Right, this is the level that sellers will want to protect. This grey box up to maybe 90s. Sellers will want to protect that. If they can't protect it, buyers will have strength again because we've now completed a 50% pullback. If they reclaim this, right? Think about liquidity, right? Sellers need to protect this box for this. If they don't do it, we've done a 50% pullback into this grey box. We go box to box. If they hold this box, they will look to lift again later in the day. So this is an important level as we start to lift up here. Oh, I keep losing you guys on chat now. Can I get this going so I can see you? There we go. Do I have hotkeys? Yes, I do have hotkeys. You want to be careful trading with hotkeys on NinjaTrader though if you're using affordable indicators. You will see sometimes you have to check their own hotkeys. Sometimes it causes me problems. But if I'm not using them, if I'm not grouping my trades, then yes, I can use my hotkeys. Stuck to my plan today. Good pro. Oh, good pro trend. Yeah, nice. Yeah, Soxel found the bid. This is it. Like back into this key level. We are not, remember, in a pro short, right? All we've done is just rebalance. So it's what this is the counter trend. If we go to like a higher time frame, go to an hourly chart, what have we just done? So RBS zone, right? Where did we break out from this morning? Here. What have we done? Repriced, held the bid, back up. Make the decision now, extension. Backside comes right under all of this. Backside for higher time frame. Backside for lower time frame, we traded. That's exactly what we traded. If we go to a 1 minute chart, for example, backside for lower time frame. We went over this yesterday. That's your backside for lower time frame. That's your higher time frame pullback. That can continue. This is the decision point for them to decide. Do I have a special keyboard? It's a Crosshair. That's what I use. Long squeeze back up, but very, very possible. Yeah, I mean, very, very possible, isn't it? It's like they're starting a base over here. This is the area that matters. If pullbacks start to hold now, they have a chance to get back to high of day. Like, it's very, very, very possible. What does RBS mean? Resistance becomes support. AB flow state. I saw you bought that dip earlier, mate. Very nice. Where I just couldn't pull the trigger. I saw that you bought it. Really, really nice. Remember, the buyers, it got a little bit stuck at 900. We can rotate here for a while now. We've made our money now on that drop. What's interesting is this move here was pretty quick when you consider how long it took to get that move this morning, right? From 10 for an hour, we did it in 28 minutes. Always the way. Shorts always coming quicker. Fear always causes a bigger move than greed, or a faster move. Why don't I trade MES? Why don't you trade Apple? Why don't you trade small caps? Because I like the personality of NQ. Because I like the volatility. Because I like what it provides for day trading. There's no rules though. You can trade whatever you want. Okay, rejection up here. There's a little bit of a wiggle on the tape here at the moment. There is a wiggle here between POC. They're trying to get up to 900 to test it. There's a wiggle here as they start to make their decision. Millwall in the Premier League. What do you think? I mean, get rid of one London club, replace it with another, I guess. I'd rather the Hammers stay up than Tottenham, but we'll see. It doesn't look that way, does it? Why didn't I take the long down there? Because I said I would. Because I made my money. I was pretty calm. Took the short down. not in a rush to do anything now, like made my money on the day, right? And we haven't come and retested it yet. We've just seen one reaction, still like can build liquidity. And we're also now 25 minutes from lunch. I can't read that out. I'd love to read that comment out, but I can't. Golden boot predictions. Hallen, no? Isn't he miles ahead? Is he not miles ahead? Sure, he's miles ahead already. How do I find New York's VWAP? It's anchored to the 9:30 open. Again, all these questions you're asking, there's so many videos on my YouTube explaining all these things, guys. There's so much there. You're long from New York VWAP. Yeah, I mean, that's the area, right? That's the zone. That's where the sellers got trapped at 30s. That's your dip buy opportunity. If we make a higher low here, we're probably going back up to high of day. This is the zone. Your cheap buy was the 930s, that VWAP. That was it, the grey box. That was the cheap dip buys where I covered. Apex only allowed 2 minis. If I buy the 830s, where would I add? When you're trading on a 50k account, I mean, you'd be adding this pullback here that if you start to see it hold here, which is what you're starting to see, this is what we talked about, right? This, and you'd be starting to pay yourself into here. And then if you see another hold, I wouldn't be adding too much high up now. So if you bought here, you can add here, and there's your next hold, and you'd be paying yourself IB and higher day. And they're going to try and test these 900s. Remember, 900s is a big level. It's where the buyer got stuck. Back over 900, I think you make new highs. That's the level for me. When does the indicator become ready for NinjaTrader? It's ready. I've just got to have a meeting with NinjaTrader and get them to approve it. It might be a bit hard at the moment because they're getting ready for their NinjaTrader Cup or whatever it's called. But I'll get a meeting in with them and get it done. How many lots should I take a 50k account? I'm a 70-30 profit rate, but I'm only up a couple of K over 3 weeks. A couple of K over 3 weeks is good. You only need to be up 3K over 4 weeks, right? So it sounds like you're doing fine. Footprint week, I mean, we're still holding above POC. That push to 900 was weak. 900's the level in my mind. If I was long, I'd be taking some profit into 900. If they start to turn this here, like sellers are coming in here, they're still not getting a breakdown though. So I'd say the 30 to 900 was your rotation. I don't think it's that weak yet though. There was a pop that failed, but I'm not seeing a breakdown here. We're still absorbing. Remember, the big bids came in at 70s, around 70s. 11.10 and 11.25. 70s is the level that they will try and absorb, I would imagine. It's where they came flying in. Think about this, where they came flying in to try and protect it. All right, they can still hold these imbalances here. Weakness comes under that. 900s is the level that we tested, tried to test, this big buyer. Point of control is filled with buys here. So I'd just be cautious for you guys looking for further downside until you see a really big reaction there. Do I have a time limit to reach 3K? Well, I don't know who you're trading with. Who are you trading with? On a flex account, no, there's no time limit on a flex account. You trade it for a year if you want. No, there's no time limit. The only ones with time limits are like Top Step will roll you over time-wise, and they make you pay monthly. Apex, you do have a time limit. It's only 30 days now. Coming back down into your VPOC, this kind of area, if they lose these 70s, maybe you get that wash back down to retest these 40s again. Remember, sub 30s is where real weakness comes. So here's the VPOC area. Here's your 70 test. This is what's going to be important now. How long we got left? I don't know if I want to shape up for another. You're Indian? Oh. Hello? I don't know what you want me to say that. Yeah, I know, man. Like top stepper. I just run out of words for them. I messed up. Almost 1,000. I'm down big, almost 1,003 funded accounts and up 500 on 2 accounts and 2 others are flat. I don't know what to do. Take the day off. If you're even saying that, you're on tilt. First thing you do is take the day off. And then tomorrow, if there's a trade you like, you size down and you just gently work your way to making that back. What you don't do is try and make it back in a day. That will be a guaranteed way of losing. All right, 70 still holding these little imbalances here. Remember, weakness comes under 30s, not beforehand. I think 30s to 900s is the rotation right now. What's my take on my funded futures? I think they're really good. They I just posted. They've got a new sale today for I think it's for new traders. Let me find it. I'm sure I posted it on YouTube for you guys. Yeah, the builder plan back on sale today, 40% off using code FZT for up to 3 accounts. 1 day pass, payouts every 2 days, low costs. I think they're good. I think they offer a lot for everyone. If you're an advanced trader, they've got those like pro accounts where you can have like max payouts. If you're looking to take like small regular payouts, they've got the builder plan or they've got the rapid. Hey Alex, is Lucid really giving payouts to overseas traders? I hear from chat they paid to US people only. I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true at all. From what chat? I'll just check their terms and make sure you're allowed to trade with them, but I don't think that's true at all. Yeah, not true. There you go. Everyone telling you it's not true. Just normally when you hear stuff like that, it's people chatting garbage because they've probably done something wrong and not due a payout, or maybe they're a promoter for another firm or stuff like that. It's not going anywhere. This is chop. Yeah, box to box, right? Lewis Hamilton trade. This is why I said, like, at the moment, I'm not as interested now. We're coming into lunch, right? Box to box. If they hold this, they will look for this. If they find weakness here, they'll look for this. This is your area of big build out. Easy money's gone. All right. I would love to say it was an easy money long for me today. It wasn't. It wasn't. Had we washed and had alignment, I would have really liked that. Yeah, beautiful. That and hold with alignment. Yep, good. This is what we talked about pre-market. Even this and a bid, even better. So I missed all of this, and all I had to get was that. And that's how I made my lunch money today. It is what it is. That's where we're at. There you go. People in the chat telling you they paid themselves $18,000 from Lucid and they live in the UK. I think this thing just has to figure it out for a bit. Check this news. Panama. Just check a few things I haven't looked at for a minute. That's getting a bit dangerous. Oof. Big seller coming in here at 70 again. Book thinned out for a moment there. VPOC here again. No, I'm not in any positions. I would tell you if I'm in positions. I was short from here to here, and I was short for this micro breakdown. That's it. I'm not in anything right now. Big sellers coming in here trying to force this sell. ES just at that New York Open. Where's this guy I saw earlier? 58s, yeah, still 58s. That's 58s and 30s are still the level. NinjaTrader price blows through my limit stop all the time. Have you seen it? It's got nothing to do with NinjaTrader, mate. That's to do with liquidity. I rarely see that happen, but if it's a very fast moving candle within liquidity, or if we have news, that will happen. It's got nothing to do with NinjaTrader at all. NinjaTrader is your execution. It's to do with CME and liquidity. It's no different to if you're playing a small cap and the spread opens up. It's exactly the same. Do you do Bitcoin as well? If yes, where do you see it's a good time to invest? I think you've missed your opportunity. We've been long IBIT for a while. What are we up today? Let's come back in a little bit. Yeah, I think you've missed your opportunity for now. I'm up 22.68% right now on BTC. Yeah. I think you've missed your opportunity on BTC, I would say. BTC. I'm slightly surprised they didn't come back down a little bit further, but we're testing. You don't want to buy up here now, right? Just think about the legs. I think we bought these higher lows here, expecting it that it might well come down to this. So this is TP1 into here now, which is why we're seeing that first reaction. Just think about this, SBR, surprise, surprise, probably see a reaction. I'd say like how we trade into 75s now is going to matter. There you go, 75s. 75s, 71s, 67s basically is what matters. If they can hold bids, then they can keep going. But this was the trade, right? Into here. We can TP some here. Unless you're a long-term investor, then you're going to need to see this start to happen. But you need to be aware, if they reject this, this can be a wash, just like this was a wash. Okay, and they can still come down into here if they want to get really nasty. At the moment, it's starting to hold price well. Right, let me focus in for a minute in case we get one more opportunity here. Coming to these 30s yet? Not yet. I want to see how we act at 30s. Do they get a continuation? Sellers coming on the tape here at 60, so they're trying to check. They're trying to chase price down here. There's some big selling here. Here we come into 30s. This is the level. If we snap this, we're going to let go. This is the level. Yes, letting go. See the importance of 30s? It's not just the VWAP. It's where the sellers are caught, these 30s. So if we come under 30s, I think there's a wash down. There's another 30 point down into 800s. So I'm going to watch if there's a backside extension here. Sellers are chasing price here. Buyers coming in aggressive here. Very aggressive here. Very aggressive again here. If these buyers get washed out at 30s, they're in big, big trouble. Very aggressive again here. 30 is a massive level. Wow, look at them loading up here. If they don't get price to move higher, if we break under 30s, there's a huge amount of buy side now who's been very aggressive there. Sellers currently sat 155 at 860. 30 still holding for now. You want to watch 860. There's a little imbalance into that. I'd watch 858. But 860 is where those sellers are. And if they sell that and you get a break of this last recent 1 minute low, you probably get a nasty snap because there's a huge amount of liquidity come flying in here trying to protect these 30s. Look at this, huge buyers just reload into 30s, into the seller's pain right now. All right, so this is the liquidity building stage of this like little leg here, and they will make a decision momentarily. I would say a snap of this and it could get really nasty. So they're trying to lift to 60 to test this seller. Pretty thin above that right now, as in on the tape, not as in what's already been printed on the actual tape. Very thin above 60. Here come the sellers. Right, I'm a little piece on here for this break. Don't want to see it absorb here too long, because otherwise we get washy. Here we go. Yes, come on, snap it, snap it, snap it, snap it. Here we go. Yep, thank you. Paying myself some into this. And we'll see if we get down to this next leg. Those buyers got absolutely fucked trying to jump the gun, and we're using their pain now. And we'll see if we can get down into 94s. We would like 30s to stay heavy. Okay, we would like 30s to stay heavy, but we've just stopped running everyone. We're into an imbalance here. So on the runners, we'd like 30s to stay heavy. See if we can get into 94s. That's what we're looking for at the moment. If we can't, we can't. Here we go. Come on, snap under PDC. Come on. Down into this would be nice. Come on. Come on. I don't want this back above 42 now, all right? I'd really like 30s to stay heavy, but my stops move to 42s. Let's see. We go. We're going to test 42s here. My stop's at 42s on the small size left. Because if we break 42s, there's imbalances right up at 60s. I don't want to give too much of my profits back. And they're still selling up there at 60s. 154 lot just sat up there. So 42s is where those buyers technically are in pain a little bit lower, but there is a good little shelf there at 42. So I'm trying to use that as my stop right now. You know what they do with Alex. They stop him out, lift it, and then dump it. But we've had the main move there into this low volume node. It's the 30 test. Remember, this is where the sellers got stuck earlier. I'm not adding any more now. I'm just letting this run. It either goes or it doesn't. It's fine. We get 900s there, just short. Look at that 900 protection. So we left the buyer stuck up there, about to knock me out here. There you go. I'm out of this on the run up. They can lift up to 60s now if they want. Don't think I'll have another go with lunch coming here in 5 minutes, but that was nice. Very, very nice. Nice follow through. And all we did there was use those buyers who got clapped. All right, let's see if we can see it in here. All we did was use these big lots. These big lots got themselves stuck for this move. Like I said, they probably do the Alex trade. They probably stop me out and dunk this. Looks like they're going to stop me out and dunk it. Here they come. All right, back into this imbalance here. New lows coming. All right, so your cover's here at 92s now as your next cover, ideally. It's the Alex trade. It never ceases to work. Let's stop me out by a point. That's fun, isn't it? Ran me by a point. You pricks. All right, so covering some if you're in this in towards 95s. And if you get under this grey box, we can think about all the way back down again. But this is value area low for the session. Expect them to try and hold this for a bit. Out by a point. They did me by a point. Bunch of pricks. They did me by a fucking point. Can you believe it? All right, can they get down to these 92s for you lot? There's lots of liquidity down here. 800, big whole number, remember? Ideally, they break this for you. ES starting to show a little bit of absorption down here. I think it's coming. I think it's coming. 800 break will probably get you there. Here they come. Here they come. So watch this value area low and 24-hour view up. And then you can hold runners beyond it. But this is your big level to cover into this box, there or thereabouts. And then you can hold runners beyond it if they go for a complete meltdown after this giant squeeze. God, they took me out by the point. What a bunch of arseholes. Literally by a point. By a point. Bastards. That seller's still up at 860. He's not moved price down yet, just so you know. Well, it was worth it, wasn't it? It was worth it. There you go. You had to wait. If you were patient enough to wait, they came in for you. Value area low here on the day. You've got to be covering here into value area low. You have to be covering here into value area low. You can hold some for beyond this, but very aggressive sellers coming here. You must be covering a good chunk. Hopefully it keeps breaking down for you on runners, but you must be paying yourself into this big level. Hopefully on runners we can break all the way down and come clearing out all this liquidity, which we didn't clear out this morning for you on runners. But this is a massive level for you to cover out, all right? It's a huge, huge level. Here they come. So into these 80s from this morning. Runners only now, and just see how far they want to break. Hopefully they want to break far for you guys. It'd be really fun if they come and wash everyone out from this morning. Remember, this morning we didn't clear out any of the stops. It's why I didn't feel good about the longs back up, because we left so much liquidity. And we're seeing everything take a dive here. Really nice trades. Make sure you paid yourself, I'd say 70-80% and runners only, 20-30% for an extension now. All right, just make sure you understand this. Back to the opening range from this morning. Nice melt. Salty, yeah, salty. Absolutely salty. Absolutely salty. It'd be an 80-point trade. Absolutely, I'm salty. 100% I'm salty. 100%. Footprint says hold shorts. Well, I'd just say 80 is a big level. Just be aware of that. That's all I'd say. You might need to retrace. The big sellers came in at 811s. You might need some form of retracement up there. That's all I'm saying right now. You might need some form of retracement back up there. And you are at value area low for the session. Yes, coming right back down under its PDC right now. Everything that's good for you to hold runners here. As long as you didn't get stopped out where I got stopped out, you're good. Here it goes. So you're under these 80s now. This thing can really start to get aggressive here if they start to let it go. Down here would be nice. Remember, all of these guys never got stopped out like I talked about. All of these guys can get run out. Big level is down here. Previous day value area high. That's where we'd really want to bid off this morning. So if they're going to do that move. Still going for you guys. So New York Open coming, 750s. Beyond that, just melt, 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 melt. Here you go. More of a melt here. Can I get re-involved here? This was 100 points from where they stopped me out. These fuckers. Told you, it's a giant squeeze up. It was a giant squeeze up. You just had to wait for it. New York Open here. Expect some reaction here. Move your stop down. Protect your profits. It's a really nice trade. This is a beautiful trade. to end the day. We're into lunch here as well. This is a beautiful trade to end the session. That just got you your 100 points. Didn't get me my 100 points on the runner, did it? No, took me out by 1 point. But there we go. So expect some relief, and then you have to see if they resell it. ES underneath low of day now. All right, ES underneath low of day. There's lots of imbalances all the way up to 811s here if they want to lift it and then resell. So you'd be watching like the value area low kind of set level, and if they lift through there all the way up here. Yeah, really good. Nice work, folks. Lots of you getting it. All you had to do was sit still. We talked about it all morning. All you had to do was sit still and follow the price in front of you and just wait for the opportunity. New York Open here. There's a bid here. 100 lot at 750. They will probably break this and tank it down to 710s at this point. Low of day. Sellers this morning got stuck at 24 down to 710. So under that, we really start breaking. We really start breaking under that. 750 here. There's a bid here. Once you slice him, I think you get like a sharp wash and then maybe a reaction. ES tanking. So 750, that New York Open, there is a 200 lot bid here. Some of it got filled. I don't think they're done with it yet. I think you're going to see a slice through. Some of it got filled. 100 of it got filled. They're coming back for it shortly, I would say. They might do a pop and then come back for him. They're protecting that grey box New York Open. They might come and drive up towards 800 and then see what they want to do. Like I said, you should be down to 20, 30%. I'd watch 780, 785, 795 right now. Over that, there's potential relief over 95. That's what I'd be watching. Watching to see if they build out this or they do this. And that's your over under now for the day. You can see support, support, resistance. That's your over under for the day. 840s, that kind of level, 830s, 840s. Would I re-enter short under 750? No, that would be your worst. That would be your worst location for the day, wouldn't it? You'd wanted to see it come up here and fail, right? Something like that, or maybe up here and fail. I wouldn't be looking for to add into here where we know they absorbed all day. You don't want to do that. That's where they absorbed all day. You'd want pops to sell. Here's the 80s. So let's see if they come back up to, I'll stay with you a little bit longer here. See if they come up to sort of 800s, 810s. If they start to sell this up here, or if they're just going to get relief all the way back inside for a range rotation. Remember, if they go back inside value, they can rotate the range up to this midpoint. Remember, this is the under over. So either they're going to do this or they're going to do this. They're going to make their mind up very soon. Here we come. So 80s selling so far. They need a breakdown here, these shorts, to get the continuation. They need to come and take out this 750 lot that we talked about. 750 lot, 100 lot at 750 that we talked about. They need to take him out of the game, and then you might see a bit more of a flush. Book sort of slowed down a minute here while it makes its decision. They're trying to get back down to test him. Here they come. They're coming to test him now. And they're going to take him out. They're going to take him out and then snap. And you might get a nasty snap here. Remember, 30s is where they got stuck this morning. 725, actually. You got a little shelf into 29. So 30s to 25. So you can pay yourself a bit here and then just hold on. And hopefully this just melts. But you are up well over 100 points now from this entry. Stopped me out. What an arse-hole taking my stop by a tick. We even said it, didn't we? It will do me by 1 point. We know it's going to do me by 1 point. They're still selling this. They're coming flying in here now. They're trying to dump this now. So PDC, remember, is 16s. You don't want to be adding sell side down here. Don't add too much liquidity sell side. You just want to be like holding your core position and trying to like let this break down. Do not sell the low of days into previous day close, into big zones. Right, don't do that. Market maker watches you. Yeah, I know. I wish that was true. It's definitely not the case. All right, into these 30s. Remember, this is like your sort of micro shelf down here at 30s, and then under here, low of days IB, and then we can think about expansion under. But you've got to be, as long as you've paid yourself some, I guess you can free to hold more and more and more size to see how low we go. Under here, remember, we can think about none of the stops. Remember from last night got ran out. I will keep repeating myself. I said it all morning long. None of these stops got run out. If they want to come to 600s today, they can. I'm not saying that's where this has to go in one shot, but if we want to come to 600s today, where's my OBS? I can show you. All right, here's your 3 drives. There's your pin high. None of this got run out. This is previous day's fair value, or high and fair value. They can come down here and find a bid. They can run all these players out because, as I mentioned, no one from overnight has been run out. All right, this is a big node you're trading in now. Say under 7s, 6s is probable. We went over this in the morning briefing this morning. This is why this morning, under this grey box, we talked about weakness down to here. It's still possible. It's still possible. The difference is now this is where we trapped this morning. But under this grey box, the weakness to 600 is possible. Big seller at 750. Yeah, 200 lot at 750. You're right. Chasing. Well, say chasing. He's trying to protect the New York Open. ES has swept Globex. Did it do that this morning? It didn't. Okay, so ES has not swept. It's putting a double bottom at the Globex low. If that breaks, ES, you're looking at 370 on expansion, but it's into a big level here. First eval passed on my first ever account I bought. Appreciate the juice. You're welcome. So if 750s stay heavy and 700s crack, they're going to look for the 6s, right? So you can see they're bidding 715 and 700. 750s is being protected right now by a seller. You don't want to get caught in compression down here. Do not short too low, all right? Remember, the shorts we took were up here, all right? That's where we got short for this move. Do not get short down here. You would need it to like really break away and reject if it's going to do anything. Do not get short. Do not be a new money short down here. You should be short from up here. When we see sellers walking down, is that stop loss adjusted? No, because you're seeing sellers walk down. That's not a stop. That would be a buy stop, wouldn't it? You're seeing sellers walking down. That's just them trying to provide a wall at that New York Open saying, hey, I don't really want you to come back above this New York Open where we just broke down from, right? If we think about this, this is what, look at this pivot. This is what they're trying to protect right now. If they don't protect it, you see relief. But this is what they're trying to protect at the moment. So right into him here at 750. If they get through this, maybe get relief up to 780s, maybe even higher. This 750 right now has become an important number. And SPY hit its high volume node for options, 733. Just know that. Where is that on the QQQ? 692, miles away. So Divergence still there. Where is that on NQ? 560s, miles away. So Divergence still at play between the two. Sellers coming back in here again. You're starting to see a little bit of absorption here from buyers trying to hold price up. Sellers want this break. You're going to need this breakdown, and you're going to need it now in lunch. If they start printing above 750s, you're going to see a little bit of a swipe up because you're seeing quite a lot of sell side liquidity try and drive price down here. Wolverine trader down 7k today. Sorry to hear that. Not sure why or what you've taken. Okay, here they go. Here's the 30s. If they get this 720, 700 break, they will look for 600s. That's where they want to go if they can get a clean breakdown under 700. Here they go. Here's PDC. This is where you last absorbed. Remember these sort of 20s and 30s. You need a clean break for you to consider holding on to your partials here, that last 10, 20%. You need a clean break. '30s is the level. They're trying to protect 30s now, and then they're going to look for a swipe, and they will try and get down into this if they can expand it. If they can't, they will get themselves caught. Here they go. So 30s being protected. Here's PDC. They'll look for the IB low and snap here. So 10s and then 700, and then under 700, 600, 585 possible. Same as this morning, right? Under grey box, swipe down to previous day value area high possible. Here they go. Here's the 7s. Here's your IB low. So if you haven't taken a partial, here's a good chance to take it into IB low. And under here, ideally under IB low, you get that 100-point wash that we were looking at this morning for your partial. Then you'll be up, God, I don't know, 250 points on that trade, which required what? Patience. Here's IB low break. Here's the 700 test. Big level this. They let go of this. I think then you come into 640s, 600, somewhere down there. We haven't run any of these stops yet, remember. Here's 700, 700, 700, 700. Here comes the break. It's coming, it's coming, it's coming. Some absorption at 700. They're looking for this trade down into this area that we were looking for this morning. It's the same setup as this morning now. All right, they're looking for this drift into here on your runners. Here they go. Here they go. Here they go. Here they go. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Right, if pops start to fail now versus 722s, maybe even a bit higher, 730s and IB, then you will get that continuation to 6s. But you should have paid yourself a chunk of change here. If they reject this grey box, there's a chance to move lower. The only thing I'd say is we have not repriced any of this since the sell. But if we reject this grey box, there is a chance now to move lower because we've got everyone stuck. Think about everyone who's bullish today is now stuck. Everyone is offside. We did just sweep. Yes. Yes, I think we can move lower. We reject the grey box. Again, you've been in a big sell here for the last, I don't know, since when? 25 minutes. Just be aware of that. We haven't popped up. We haven't seen big covering yet. You're saying MAG looks like you're rallying. Okay. What's the market leader? Remind me what the market leader is at the moment. Is it the MAG? No. What's the market leader? Oh dear. Oh dear. What's the market leader? Why did I keep referencing this all day long? This is the market leader. Chips. Chips are the market leaders. What's happening? Smacked. Yes? You're looking at the wrong thing for guidance right now. Chips are the market leaders. Right? So if chips get weak, those semiconductors, which are on, I don't know, it's probably a 30-day run now of thousands of %. Yeah, fritos, French fries, crisps, chips, right? Whatever you want to call it. They're the market leader. So if they see weakness, we come risk off. Here we go. Yep. I'm getting a piece of this versus grey box. Here we go. Give me. Can we get down to 40s? Gimme. Same trade as we looked at this morning. Yeah, come on, baby. Gimme. Here's 50s. We're looking for 40s. And then we're looking for 10s. Here come the 40s. Taking piece off here. Oh! But he doesn't tell me what to do. Here we go. All right, Globex low tagged. After this, we're looking at previous day value area high and then previous day point of control. This is an area they may very, very well bid off. Okay, this is where I was looking for buys this morning. Be aware of that. There's your Globex. There's the sweep. Fritos, fritos, fritos. And just like that, my day changed. Why? Because I knew when to get aggressive. What just happened? Well, we just changed our whole outlook on the day. Ba-doom. Okay. Wait. Set up aggression. Yeah. If you learn a lesson from me, that's the one to learn. And we just added a chunk more. This is up too much now, really. There's my Lucid account. Another 1,700 in there. I'm now up $13,000 on that Lucid account. I don't want to hear. This is why I get upset with some of you in the morning. Like, I'm here to help. All you have to do is just try and have some patience. Just try and have some patience with me, because I will provide you with trades nonstop. I even got knocked out of this one myself. If you got this look at this trade. If you didn't get knocked out, we even joked Alex would get knocked out by a tick. Well, he did. All right. If you didn't get knocked out with me here, there's your TP. Oh, just a casual 200 points. All right. Not like these other guys giving you 10 points, 5 ticks, 20 points. All you've got to do is just show some patience, right? What I would say right now is you have a 367 lot seller at these low of days. You better be out. You better be out of a good chunk of this right now, because what we're seeing here is a fucking gigantic seller at the low. All right, look at this. Huge. This is huge selling. That's the biggest thing I've seen today. All right, someone's trying to sell the lows. Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy. You're starting to like the IB to VWAP. It's a good strategy to follow every day. Not every day. Not every day. There's two sides of it. You're either playing the extension or the trade back in. That's all about how extended we are on the IB, what kind of environment we're in. One of those two things will set up probably 85% of the time, yes. Right, if buyers, right, if you're still sell side, I'm out of this. If buyers hold a print at 55 now, 655, you want to be done with it. Okay, if they hold 655, 650, you want to be done with this trade. If they don't hold that, you can be willing to let this melt and melt and melt and melt and melt. Someone's just said something. What we said, 6K on my funded. Patience is key. Tony. Nice work, man. Nice work. Second leg, then we can look for longs later today around previous day point of control. Well, only if they're, look, okay, this is the last thing I'm going to say. These are levels of interest, right? Remember earlier when the guy got very upset because I was looking for this trade? Okay, well, it just came later in the day. Right, there's that trade. This is a level of interest. Maybe we buy up off that, but you don't buy on the way down, because what happens if they go, no, we're going to rotate yesterday's value, right? Then you're going to get caught buying the way down. That's no different to people shorting, guessing the tops. If you're buying the way down, you're guessing the bottoms, right? Don't do that. Don't do that. Let it come into a level of interest and let it show you that it's ready to start moving. Let it keep sellers trapped. Remember, I just said there's a seller caught at 55. If they hold 55, there's your first level. But if they keep flushing, you move lower and lower and lower. It's a strong, look at this, it's a strong sell. Why bid against that? What's the momentum right now? Down. All right, what's the location? Still premium versus yesterday. That's cheap, that's fair value. You need location, momentum shift, right, to be long. Otherwise, you're going to be the liquidity that they liquidate to go lower. Makes sense, doesn't it? Oh, I've lost the chat. It's gone. YouTube's so annoying sometimes on a little screen, little touch screen. Do you teach this in your course? Yes, all of this. I teach all of this in the course in far more detail. All right, where did we just bid off? 55s, right? 55s to 50s. There, like I said, there's a giant seller down here, right? If they hold this print, he will get in trouble. If they don't hold the print, he'll be in the money and you'll get a bigger wash. I'm done with it. Like I said, I'm done with it right now, folks. This is the move I wanted. Back down here, I'm not going to be greedy. Giveaway, have we done enough likes? Look at everyone left, like 1,000 people left, which means they didn't get any of this. We haven't even got enough likes, guys, to do a giveaway, unfortunately. 200-point trade for you, not enough likes. Again, they're testing this level, 53s, 53s, 53s and 50s. If you see follow through under here, then you can look for previous day value area high. But this is where they keep trying to sell and they're not having success selling under 53s and 50s right now. Right? They're not having success selling under 53s and 50s right now, where this big player came in. If they find success, 608 is possible. Definitely don't be trying to add shorts down here right now. Right? The short was grey box down or up here and down. Right? Not down here now. Not at low of day around the where we've caught bids for the last, well, overnight and yesterday. ES can't get back through that 370 right now, that high volume node on the options chain, interestingly. Probably needs some relief here. There's a lot of sellers coming down here. Probably needs a bit of relief. Here they come. They can come all the way up to 29s if they want. The first place to come and check would be 91s. And then they could come and check all the way up to 29, 729s if they wanted. If they come back inside of 760, obviously that's back inside of value for the day. Remember, we've been in a straight sell. They're defending 90s for now. Like I said, 90s is a big level. If they pop through 90s, I think you're going to come up to 730s again. I'm out of this. I'm done with it. Had what I wanted. Here's the 90 check. If they pop through this, they're going to go all the way up to 30s. Buyers trying to come up here. And they're trying to lift up to 30s now. They're trying. Not doing too well yet. So 90s being sold into for now. And you might see rotations here. I'd watch like 92s, 54s, 730s. Those are kind of your rotation zones at the moment while they build out liquidity down here for a bit. You could argue there was a cheap buy there versus 55 and 50. I mean, it's 50 points up from that right now. But it's a very risky buy down there, that's for sure. But it was a cheap buy. And here they go. They're going to try and lift up to 30s. Here's your initial balance. So here in PDC, every time I make money, 100 is only a symbol how much more you help me make, bro. Every time I make... Oh, man. Piggy, that's very kind of you. Thank you so much. Well, that's good to know that you're making far more than $100 with me each trade. That's great to know. Right, 90 is the level here again. So if buyers protect this, they'll look for the rotation to 30s, right? If buyers protect this, they'll look for the rotation to 30s. Very, very kind of you guys today. And they're going to try and lift the 30s. Here's your IB. Here's PDC. Here they go to 30s. So you can see how they like rotate back up to the 30s. Again, sellers got stuck at low of day. That's why we took the position off. 55 and 50s, sellers got stuck. They held the pullback. They're coming up for 30s now. Here's the 30 shelf. Yeah, like, does this make sense to you all? Right? Sellers got stuck. They held the pullback here. 55 to 50s held. They drive it up. They get through 90s. They come back up to these sellers at 25 and 30s, right? If they lift through here, they're going to come and test value area low. We don't get short down here when we know we're expecting relief back upside. Beautiful, beautiful move. There you go. There's the 30s. All right. Price moving much nicer now that we've got momentum. That's probably it for me, folks. We're well into lunch now, half an hour into lunch. That's probably it for me. What would I be thinking about this afternoon? Well, if you reclaim value, I mean, they can come up if they reclaim value area low in New York. They could potentially, I guess, come up for VWAPs. I would imagine there'll be a battle between these now for a little bit. All right, and we'll probably do some form of build out in here. If you reclaim, how can I? If you reclaim here, if you reclaim this, all right, don't rule out this move up here again. All right, big sell. Don't rule out that lift back up. Okay, don't be fighting it. We've had the low-hanging fruit, right? There's your Globex. We had it. There's the sell. There's the rejection of this node to here that we're looking at this morning. This morning we said we probably want to be a buyer somewhere in there. We're starting to see a reaction. Do not get too biased now. You've had the trade opportunities today. You need to probably let it build out some liquidity because this is a straight move. We probably need to build out some liquidity. Whether we're going to use it to go lower or go up, we will find out once we build it out. But I would imagine, unless we do some gross V shape, that they need to build some out for a little while now so that we can make some decisions. Thanks, guys. What time frame do I use the anchor volume profile? 9:30, mate. 9:30 open. New day here, second day eval, up $1,000. I watched you for a week before trying to pass it. Nice, man. I've always turned into your stream since I started trading. I genuinely believe I'm up 10 to 15,000 just watching and listening to you. We'll get your course once I get the payout. Thanks, buddy. Yeah, looking forward to working with you. Yeah, nice work, everyone. Nice work. All right, I'm out of here. I might pop in later. Here comes the relief up to value area low. I might pop in later. I'll see how I feel, see how we set up. But certainly we had some nice moves today. Oh, we did. Have we got enough? Okay, we'll do a giveaway if we've got enough. Let me set it up. Don't do anything yet. Otherwise, it won't work. All right, you know the score. Just type FZT once. Gets you your best deal on your prop firms. Right now with Apex 90% off. Just type it once in chat. All the prop firms, that's your code to use. Other than that, you can use code FlowZone for Take Profit Trader. I'll give you guys a minute to do that, and then we'll pick a winner. In it goes. So the squeeze back up. That seller at the low telling the story. Seller at the low telling the story. ES to IB. Big old ripper back up here. Some selling here into value area low. So they're trying to protect it. And like I said, I think we probably build out a little bit of liquidity here for a bit, folks. Would not surprise me in the slightest to see this build out some liquidity here for a bit. Like back, as in chop back and forwards while it makes it mind up. Unless they find acceptance above and we go straight back into value, which is possible. But I wouldn't be surprised to see this sort of navigate and rotate around for a little bit of a bit. SOXL back inside of its IB as well. Testing where it broke down from that 50. Remember 54 to 55 SOXL big level. I wouldn't be surprised to see this fade away from that on a retest and then base out just like NQ. Same kind of story. Would not be surprised. All right, let's pick this winner. Where are you guys? Here it is. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Graph C. Graph C. Are you here? Graph C for your Apex accounts. Let me know you're here in chat. Yeah, all right, congratulations. All right, all you got to do is send me an email, info@flowzonetrader.com. Send me a screenshot to you logged into your YouTube, All right, and then sort you out the free Apex account as soon as I get off the stream. All right, folks, you know what to look for, yes? You should all be prepared, right? Sellers are now stuck at the lows, right? We are traversing between value area low, this node, and here. We probably build out some liquidity in here for a bit. If they find a recovery above this, they will come and test these VWAPs. If they grind all the way back, they'll come back to where we shorted, which is 840. All right, if they want to do a giant grind back, they can do a giant grind back, right? Do not get stuck trying to force the short back down. You had the move. There was the move. There was the move. Do not get too forced in here. We can box in here for a while, all right? Please, 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 please. Always like try and think, have I had the move? Has the easy money gone? Have we made money? Have I hit my profit targets for the day? The answer is yes, 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 yes. Why am I here any longer? Yeah? Why be at a casino? Casino's job is to take your money. Okay, so if you made your money, we just had ace, 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 ace. Chances of getting ace, ace again are very, very slim. Right, so now we need to let pass, 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 pass. And maybe if you're tired or you've made your money, you'd rather go and get a drink at a bar and come back tomorrow. All right? Peace and love, everyone. Use hard stops, all that good stuff. Let's go again tomorrow. It's another fantastic day. Well over 200 points locked in on stream. And tomorrow we go again. Peace out.